What happened to that rain that we had not that long
No,
ago?
I don't know, Cam.
An interesting code has gone to Thornton, and we've got Nolder down on Connors.
Let's get this one underway. Big game here at the QEO. This is South versus Sandhurst. This is the boy from Eaglehawk, Ronnie Rogers.
Thanks, Johnny. Ball tossed up and we are underway. Martin got a little bit of a palm down onto it. Chance for Holmes of Sandhurst. Had a little bit of trouble finding the handle. Now he does. Bombs it long inside the 50 to full forward. No mark. There's a whistle. And it's going to be a Bloods free. It's going to come back here to Torpy. He'll take it pretty much at full back. Goes very short. Miller. That's Isaiah Miller. Runs around the man on the mark. Kicks up towards the wing. Good mark in front. That's good hands. Good strong mark by Belnaves, and South are away.
He'll go into the corridor. He had Brock Harvey there. Brock Harvey was good enough to pick up the football. Delivers it by hand to Bartels. Bartels will straighten up, and it's a short pass to half forward, and he's found a teammate in Leroy Miller. Directly in front. Goes to the back door by hand to Brady Childs. Geez, that's good. His first touch of the afternoon. Spreads it wide, and McCutcheon, he takes a chest mark and he'll line them up for the first one of the afternoon.
Joel Swatton has gone and stood on Andy Collins, who that was the matchup they worked with last time. It'll be interesting to see if it lasts a little bit longer after Andy Collins came back on and gave him a little bit of a football lesson.
Good
last
to see
time they played.
Brady Childs get the first one on the board. Geez, it's an ugly, awkward ball into the corridor. I don't know if he meant it. It was a copter, but a mark's been taken by the Bloods directly in front. And it is Brody Haddow.
Poor defensive structures there from Sandhurst. They had 3 South Bendigo players in the 50 standing on no one.
No windsock here at the QEO today. Geez, the wind grabs it and pushes it right and wide for a minor score. So the Bloods are on the board, one behind, leading Sandhurst yet to score 1.5 in the first on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
So Price brought it in for the Dragons, went short into the back pocket, and Zach East has the footy for the Dragons. Goes across the ground, and they'll work it off half back up towards the middle of the ground. Target has strawn it, went over his head. At the back, chance for the Dragons to run onto it. Wilkinson gathers, kicks long. Target here, Parry, up with the one arm, couldn't quite hold the mark. Goes back onto it, couldn't quite get the handle. South get a handball, but that's charged down. The ball deep in the forward pocket for Sandhurst, but there's a free kick. High work there on Blow. And the youngster will take the free kick for the Bloods deep in the back pocket on the outer or swimming pool side.
He'll play on quickly. He'll send it beyond defensive 50 to the outer side of the ground, bouncing footy. And
I think it might have cleared the line,
Cleared the line, so the wind just grabbed that one. Sandhurst will play on quickly, receiving the ball. There was Andy Collins. 80 out from goal. He'll put it into a pocket, a breaking player. And it looks like Daniel Connors has slid into that one of the Dragons on his knees and underneath the scoreboard to line him up 35 out from goal.
Yes, there's been a little bit of a shuffle, John, since the game started, and Braden Torpy has gone to Connors and Daniel Nolder's following Taylor Strauner in.
Experienced AFL player Connors. It'll be a good kick from there regardless, underneath the scoreboard. Oh, geez, he skipped and jumped and hopped. I don't know what he was doing there, apart from the fact that he put it straight through the middle. That was really unusual, wasn't it? Or was that my imagination?
No.
1 goal, 6 straight Sandhurst, 1 behind the Bloods. We've travelled 3 minutes into the first, thanks to Holden, Colorado at Poyser Holden on Bendigo's Fresh FM. What was going on with that, boys?
Yeah, you're right. It was a little bit of an interesting old run. It almost had a bit of the Josh Kennedy little skip about it, but it looked like he stabbed at the kick as well. Certainly not one for the goal-kicking purists when they talk about following through, Normie.
Yes, it'll be interesting to watch his next shot at goal and see whether it was just a hiccup or whether it's part of his program.
So we're back in the middle for the restart. Martin got a hand on it. Collins, quick handball. Found a teammate who handballed it off to Price. Chipped it up towards half forward. Thornton. They run it well, the Dragons. It ends up back with Price on 50. Chips it into the pocket. And that's Connors again, I reckon, who's come out and taken the mark. Full-chested, and he'll line up for his second in as many minutes, Norm.
He has, and look, that was excellent work by Sandhurst then. They fed the ball out the back. They created the loose man, and as we saw in his AFL days, Daniel Connors gets on a lead, very hard to beat.
And Cade Blow's gone to Lee Coughlin down in that Sandhurst forward line.
35 out. There was no hop, skip or jump there. He just put that straight through the middle, Connors. Second goal, and already the Dragons are, well, up and about. They're 2 straight 12. South Bendigo 1 behind. We've ticked over 4 minutes in this first term. Thanks to Aussie Disposals. Here's Cam Power.
Worrying signs early for South Bendigo. Sandhurst getting on a roll nice and early. Daniel Connors has taken 2 nice grabs and kicked 2 nice goals as well. So definitely some worrying signs for the Bloods, Normie.
There is there. Cam. They've got to just make sure somebody fills the gap so the forwards haven't got anywhere to lead. I noticed then that there were loose men, but the loose men were out in the centre of the ground and not out in the pocket where Connors was able to lead to.
We've got a slick outfit here with the Dragons. They're playing well. Connors holding the man.
Yeah, he played
Connors. Collins,
He
in
played
fact.
that really well, didn't he?
And 50.
Oh,
They are dominating the
a bit
clearances
of
at the
a bit of
moment,
yap
Sandhurst.
yap, Johnny. And what was the 50
I
for?
reckon it was because there's no player around him.
No, there was no interaction between players or South Bendigo player having the football, so there must have been a bit of back chat.
So Andy Collins, he'll line them up from goal. He's directly in front. And you'd think that he'd make no mistake. The man at mark stands at about, 25 metres, if that, to the city end. This is Andy Collins, the coach of the Dragons. Oh, geez, he made it work, but snuck it through for their third straight. 3 straight 18. Dragons, one behind the Bloods, and they've only had one push inside forward 50 at the almost 6-minute mark of the first quarter. Thanks to Aussie Disposals on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
The worrying sign for South Bendigo at the moment, they are getting absolutely dominated in the midfield at the moment. They're not really getting their hands on the ball at all in the middle, and Sandhurst have probably won every clearance that's gone in there. And an undisciplinary going inside 50, resulting in a third goal for Sandhurst. When you're 2 goals down in the first 8 minutes, you don't want to be giving away cheap goals like that.
No, that's true, Cam. And South have now they've got to regroup. Brady Child's gone into the centre by the looks, so let's see whether he can help the boys.
So Martin and Crisp will go at it again, as has been the pattern thus far. Umpire tosses it up. Crisp got over Martin that time and got it down. Dragons flick it wide. Collins again, and now a kick forward deep for Sandhurst to the top of the goal square.
Oh.
Is that a mark to Connors? No. It almost was. He's recovered though. Picked the ball up, hooked it around the corner and kicked another one. He's got 3 in 7 minutes. And Sandhurst have 4 straight 24. South Bendigo are 1 behind. We're 7 minutes into the first term, thanks to Priority 1 Property. Here's Norm Jenkins.
Yeah, South Bendigo got caught napping in the centre bounce there because Chris got the tap easily, hit it to a teammate, but there was nobody going past that teammate for the handball. Sandhurst snared it, and then they all ran the other way in numbers.
When they got their hands on the foot, it was almost like a training drill. The quick one handball, the second handball, and the kick inside 50, and almost a mark to Connors.
Collins comes off for a spell. Jake McLean comes on for Sandhurst. A neat, slick-looking machine here. Dragons. Martin wins the tap. Look out, indeed, into the park of East. East runs to 50. Dislodges the footy. Thornton, that's Bear Thornton of the Dragons, might have threw that one. Umpire let it go. 51 metres out from goal. We'll have a ball up. He said, give it to me. So 24 playing 1, a 23-point margin. It's all the Dragons. 8 minutes into the first. Up they'll go into the ruck. This is Martin. Taps it to East. He just flings the ball into the forward 50. Bloods, they'll need to be careful defensively.
No.
Oh, they cosh it up. Connors just received it, and then his kick was smothered. 38 out directly in front. Thornton is there for the Dragons. Really heat in the kitchen there as the umpire decides to throw it up 25 directly in front.
That was good from Kay Blow. He made a poor handball, went straight to a Sandhurst player, but he recovered really well and got the smother in that secondary action, so it was well done by him to make sure it wasn't a goal to Connors.
Daniel Connors thought it was his birthday, I think. I don't think you can believe it.
He could be on for a few this afternoon the way he's playing.
So the ball knocked down in the ruck. Now there's a free kick, and I think it's going...
The way of Sandhurst, that was a
yeah,
throw. There was a throw.
It was against Blow, who was dragged by the one arm, lost control of the footy, and the umpire deemed it was a throw.
You can't handball it when your one arm's behind your back in a tackle, so...
So Coughlin is the player with the football, and he is only 25 out for the Dragons. No real angle to speak of, and this will be 5 unanswered goals for the Dragons in 9 minutes of football if he's successful. So he comes in, Lee Coughlin, really shouldn't have any trouble with this, you'd think. Fires and makes no mistake, and the Dragons, dare I say it, on fire. 5 straight 30, South Bendigo 1 behind. We played 9 minutes of the first term. Thanks to Holden Colorado at Poyser Holden. Here's Cam Power.
Yeah, Lee Coughlin, that's his 10th goal for the season, and a class play like that, a strong tackle, and just a learning curve for the youngster there for Kay Blow for South. But again, it all started from the clearance straight out of the middle. It's almost too easy winning it out of the middle, Normie.
Yes, it is, Cam, and just watching a little bit of push and shove in the South Bendigo forward lines. There's 3 Sandhurst players going at Brady Childs, and I know Brady can handle himself. But yeah, you've got one side that's come to play today, and you've got the other side in South Bendigo. They've got to settle now. They've got to play a bit of tempo football, get their hands on the ball and hold on to it.
Well, let's hope it doesn't get ugly early, because it's starting to head down that track. Up they'll go. Martin wins the tap convincingly to Parry again in the middle. Dishes it back there to Martin. That was a fresh airy. Parry is there. That was a fresh airy, a punch as well. They've just got the numbers here, Sandhurst. This is Dole. Dole, in fact, incorrect disposal, and this free kick will go to Will Keck of the Bloods.
So, waste no time, keeps it very low. Didn't really hit the target, although making a pretty good fist of it there was Harvey. Got a kick up towards the 50 or inside. No mark taken. Bloods trying to manufacture a goal. Dragons' defence holds firm. They get a kick out wide, and the mark is taken by, is it
Martin.
The big fella Martin? It is. And he just chips it up towards the wing with the one arm strawn, couldn't hold the mark. Bloods might be able to go forward here. Miller got it off to a teammate in Bartels.
Oh, good
got
tackling.
around the first one, not the second. Holding the pill, and the Dragons with the free.
Mitch Dole got the free kick, and he plays on quickly to half forward, looking for the Thornton. It bounces inside forward 50. Connors dishes out a handball to the back door. They're moving it nicely here, and we've got a break, a pass that's wide to Big Bear Thornton, who takes a grab in front of his eyes. 38 out from goal.
You can tell that one side wants the footy and the other side's not sure what to do it when they get the footy, because Sandhurst, they are hunting in numbers at the moment, and it looks really good. They are looking like a well-oiled machine out there.
They looked a bit nervous, Cam, didn't they, the Bloods, when they had that footy?
Oh, the tackling pressure is absolutely sensational from the Dragons at the moment. I reckon they had about 3 or 4 tackles in a row, just where a player had no time to even think about what he was going to do with the footy.
Matty Thornton, the big bear they call him. It's a big
Love
bear
that
of a
kick.
kick too. That goes straight through the middle. Dead-eye Dick. Talk about a good scoreline at the moment. It is 6 goals straight, 36. South Bendigo are 1 behind, almost 12 in the first, thanks to Priority 1 Property, as local footy is our first choice on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
Yes, it's been excellent football by Sandhurst so far. They're prepared to run, they're prepared to help their teammates, they're prepared to put the ball into space, and that's the difference to South Bendigo. When the ball went forward before, the disposal into South's forward line was shocking for Antonovich.
Ruck contest. Chris got a clean hand on that one and knocked it down. Collins had it, lost it. Quick kick forward by Keck for the Bloods. Up towards the 50. McCutcheon's got the crumb, but he's gang tackled, brought to ground. The umpire said no prior, I'll bounce it. About 30 out from the Bloods' goal, and boy, could they do with one.
What do you reckon Brady Childs will be thinking right about now, Normie? He can't really throw too many rotations around not being on the bench at the moment.
No, well, I think Brady would be hoping that his bench is having a look at this and finding out where it's all starting.
From that stoppage, Bartel's got a push in the back, and he's in within range for the Bloods, and he'll take the shot at goal.
Let's go around the grounds, Cam Power.
Yeah, Kyneton have kicked the first goal against Kangaroo Flat, and Strathfield have kicked the first goal against Gisborne. Both games being 1 straight 6-0.
So Liam Bartel's, but 35 out, well within range. Kicks it very high, makes the goal umpire do a bit of work, and unfortunately is offline, and it's a behind. So South Bendigo are 2 behinds. They trail Sandhurst 6 straight 36. That's 13 into the first term, thanks to Aussie Disposals.
Could be a long day out at Eagle Hawk as well. Castlemaine have got 3 changes. Huntley, Blake and O'Brien are 3 players that are out with some of their better players. As the ball's brought in by...
They play in the huddle, Johnny.
Yeah, that's right.
They
They're
play
good
in the huddle.
old-fashioned
I haven't seen that for a while.
No, Worm received the ball and then dished it off to a teammate in East. The huddle. I haven't seen that since about 1987. Now he goes long. East.
That's a good mark.
Well, good long kick too, wasn't it? They're just moving it like Sandhurst. Receiving the ball. Recipient of a kick there was Broadbent. He's on left half forward. He'll be looking for Connors, who's leading hard, and why wouldn't you? Probably got a push. Umpire let it go. Nolden needed to be careful. The sling tackle of the Bloods, but good rebounding footy, and they'll bring it to half back, and Keck takes a mark.
Been prominent early, Keck, with the headband on and the long red hair. Now, what's the umpire saying? 50-metre penalty. What was that all about, Cam? In the protected area?
Your guess is as good as mine on that one.
I think that's what it had to be, Ron,
Yeah.
because there was nothing else that took place that we could see unless there was some back chat.
And it wasn't a free kick situation, so I reckon it might have been player in the protected zone. So Keck's long ball. He's got a couple of players close to the boundary. Unfortunately, his target dropped the mark. That was Sheehan, who was dispossessed in the tackle for the Bloods. The ball falls under a couple of players battling for it. One of those was Belnose, and we'll have a toss-up. It's in front of the, well, it's on the outer side in front of the toilet block out there, or the, whatever you want to call it.
South Bendigo change rooms.
Yeah. Is that what it is, is it?
Yeah.
'Cause I'm losing my marbles here, Norm, as they bring it out pretty well. Collins, the old give and go, then spreads it wide. That's a lovely looking ball. Mark dropped, though, by O'Farrell. He probably lost his time again there. Now there's a whistle, and it's a Bloods free kick. And it's going to Antonowicz, Johnny.
Yes, he's on a pretty tight angle. Distance, there's a little bit of a breeze, Ronnie, so it might test him, but he's right on the boundary line. In fact, he's right up hard against the fence. You kick it from a good 40. He's on the broadcast side to the Barnard Street end. 34-point margin, so his team needs it. The Dragons have been really slick in this opening term. It's only 15 and a half minutes in the first. So Antonowicz, long approach, Jeff Thompson style, swings it left, stays left for their third minor for the afternoon. So they are 3 behind. Sandhurst is 6 goals straight, 36. 16 minutes in the first. Thanks to Aussie Disposals, as local footy is our first choice
there's a
on
whistle.
Bendigo's Fresh FM, and I
What's
reckon we
going
got a
on?
50 again.
What's that 50-metre penalty
Can you
for?
give a 50 out of the defensive zone for
Well,
a
apparently
free
you
kick?
can.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Might be
Ron,
on
have I?
track for a world record 50-metre penalties in a game of footy the way we're going
Well,
this afternoon.
Price was going to bring the ball in, and the umpire blew the whistle and has moved him up to centre-half back. So Price still with the footy, brings it across the ground. Mark taken by Long, chips it off to Broadbent. It's on the broadcast wing, up towards half forward. No mark taken. Dragons with all the numbers, but the boundary line wins out. And it's out of bounds, Cam.
Yeah, around the grounds, Golden Square 3 straight 18 leading Maryborough yet to score, and then around the grounds in the Heathcote District Football League, Elmore 5-1-31 trailing Mount Pleasant 6-4-40, and White Hills 2-1-13 to Lockington 1-4-10.
Umpire hurls it back in. Broadbent grabbed the football. He put it in the direction of a teammate, which was OK McLean. Now they're all tied up, 51 out from goal.
Plenty of tackling
Just
going on,
watch
John.
Stagg is looking for some space there for the Dragons, but in fact it will be the Bloods that clear it to the outer side of the ground. Johnson got his hands on the football, couldn't win it, but now Cody Price does. He's been prominent. Oh, Stagg hit the pack hard. Parry, the big bull, picked it up, 48 out from goal, just shovels it out, and he's been pinged, and a free kick will go to the Bloods. But good build-up, Ronnie, and Swatton is going to receive the free kick.
Yeah, he might have been a little bit unlucky, Parry, but he was swung the full 360. So Swatton brings it wide for the Bloods. Mark taken by Balnaves. He's defensive side of the wing, right in front of our broadcast position here. Sandhurst lead by 33 points early going. That's a good kick by Balnaves, and he finds the ruckman crisp. So
I
he's
reckon
still
that's 50 metres against the doctor for Stown.
standing in the way.
Well, he's not allowed to get in the way of the players. You can't run across a player that's taken a mark.
Now what's happening here? It is a
It was
50-metre
a bit
penalty.
unlucky.
But-
He was
but-
attending a player, and then all of a sudden the kick came in his direction.
Well, he's just got to stay with the player. He moved.
So Callum Chris gets a 50-metre penalty for the Bloods. It'll bring him up to about attacking 60. And he's just going to drop it in short. And is it Antonowicz
Yes.
again, who's taken the mark on his chest? And similar position, Johnny. He's about 35 out, but deep in the pocket. He'll have a set shot at goal. The Bloods still to get their first major of the afternoon. Sandhurst have managed 6 thus far.
Not sure I agree. He had his hands up enough to be out of the way of the play. The kick could have gone down the line or even across the ground without the doc being interfering. So
But he left the player he was attending. He should have stayed with that player till the ball left the area.
Antonowicz keeps it narrow, and it does swing late, but it's still offline. It's a behind. So the Bloods, when they barely need a goal, have only managed 4 behind. Sandhurst a 6 goals straight, 36. Almost 19 gone into the first, thanks to Priority 1 property.
Now the Dragons off half-back through Han. He kicks it long down the line to half-forward. Contested footy at ground level. Jake McLean was in there doing some hard work for the Dragons as the whistle on play. Collins is back on the ground, the coach. Had a good couple of minutes in the opening. There was a goal kicked by him. As now we've got another contest on half-forward for the Dragons and another whistle on play.
I suppose, at least they've stopped the bleeding momentarily, the Bloods.
Well, they have stopped the bleeding at this stage, Ronnie, and a bit of a pun there, my boy.
As the ball's thrown up again.
I'm not that smart, no.
Pardon the pun. As Broadbent picks it up, he'll bring it into the corridor to Jake McLean.
That
It
might
was
have
at
been
his
high.
ankles. Unlucky not to get a free kick,
Should have
Ronnie.
been high.
Yeah.
Swimming pool side, outer side on the wing, and the umpire will ball it up.
So tossed up. Martin may have had the best of it. Dragons feed it out wide. Chance for him to go forward. Long. And not long by name, but he only chipped it short, but he found Thornton. Is the mark paid? I think it is.
Yep.
So he is about 60 from goal on the outer side. Runs inboard, then kicks it very high. It's going to land about 30 out. Full chested. That's a good mark.
Broadbent, is it?
I reckon it might be Broadbent who's taken the mark. We'll just wait till he turns around to confirm it. But he's only about 30 out and almost directly in front. You're right, it is Broadbent. So he'll go back and shoot for the Dragons 7th.
Good bit of passage, good couple of minutes for South Bendigo. They've been able to get the ball down in their forward line, but they haven't been able to capitalise on it, and that's going to be the difference as Sandhurst probably should kick their 7th.
Broadbent from 30 makes no mistake. They've got 7 straight, the Dragons, and we're only 20 minutes into the first term. 7 straight 42. The Bloods are 4 behinds, with thanks to Holden, Colorado, at Poyser Holden. 20 minutes gone first term. Here's Norm Jenkin.
Yeah, the interesting thing in the game so far is that the 50-50 contests are falling Sandhurst's way, and then when they fall their way, Sandhurst are reacting quicker, and they're able to spread, create space, and move the ball on. If South Bendigo can get some of those 50-50s, then they've got to react quick and use it and see what happens up the ground.
Up they'll go in the ruck. Crisp. He wins the tap on that occasion, but it was held. Now,
Advantage, Johnny.
Well, away they go now. Sandhurst again. They'll bring it inside forward 50. This is Stagg. Runs over the football, then behind it, and then tried to pick it up before the boundary line and couldn't. And 49 out from goal. It'll be a ball in. Broadcast side in the rifle pocket. Right on the paint mark of 50. The umpire will hurl it back in. Martin, really strong. Crisp did well as well. Just Coughlin, just dish it over the top to Stagg, who then gives it to Price, who just puts it over the top, and he's got Connors there that takes a mark. I thought he might have shepherded it through, but didn't. Probably lucky he didn't, Ron, because it would have hit the post, I reckon. But he's taken a mark hard up against the point post, and he'll be asked to get on a very tight angle.
Won't be a problem for him, Johnny.
2 millimetres out, so all he has to do is step around the corner and pop it through.
You'd expect Andy Collins to kick this.
Steps around the corner and misses.
We give him the big rat. And he missed.
Well, the way the Dragons have been kicking today, they haven't missed a beat with their set shots for goals, so that's definitely against run of play, that behind Normie.
It was, and maybe Ronnie should have looked at what he did in the last couple of games where he tried to pass shots like that off.
7-1-43 to 4 behind. Sandhurst are well in front in this game, 22.5 in the first on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
Torpy plays on from full back. Target on the kick in is Keck. Crisp comes high as well. Knocked the ball to his own advantage. Got some high contact. No free kick. Might have been a bit unlucky. Players dive in on top of it. And in the end, the umpire says, mine boys. Keck at the bottom of all that. So the Dragons will be happy with that. They've kept it in their attacking half of the ground. Thrown up. Clever tap. Got it down to Stagg from Martin. He just hooked it around the body to fall forward. Connors came late. Couldn't impact the marking contest. Now he receives a handball, gets it off to East. That's a little bit too easy. He's fired at goal and missed. So another behind. 7-2-44 the Dragons. South Bendigo 4 behinds. And we played 23 minutes.
Around the grounds in the Heathcote District lead, the big clash between North Bendigo and Huntley, and it's North Bendigo that have got the jump. They have 4 goals straight. Huntley 3 behinds at quarter time.
Well, I'll have to have some goal kicking practice now, Sandhurst. They've kicked 2 behinds in a row.
That was a bit too easy, really. They worked that really well. He should have kicked the goal.
Almost tried to use the wind too much.
Torpy brings it into the broadcast side to Zach Hare, who's still in his defensive arc for the Bloods. Looking to bring it down the line, broadcast side, which he does. It's only a short little kick. Geez, it was effective pinpoint. Chris should have marked it and didn't. Fell to Swatton. Now they'll lose it. Collins picked it up. Handballed it to Price, then he lost it. McCutcheon there for the Bloods, also offering support is Haddo. He'll go over the top by hand to a teammate, which is okay in Hare.
No.
Hare, an ugly kick. Geez, they're trying their best to muck it up here on the Bloods, I'll tell you. Off half back, they're going to be fortunate, and a free kick will be given to Belnaves.
Wants to go corridor, not his best kick, made it very hard for his teammate. Working hard is rough for the Dragons. In the end, weight of numbers wins out. Dragons clear it towards half forward. Blair Holmes on the end of it. Might have got a push in the back. A little bit of one to go on with, but there was nothing in that. So he goes back to take his kick. He's 75 from home. Connors on the lead. Just sort of too much on the kick. It went to the back of the pack. Belnave's in trouble. Dragged in. It's a good tackle, the umpire says.
Holding the ball.
He paid it, did he?
Yeah.
So a free kick will go to Stagg.
Had plenty of opportunity to get rid of that Bellinaise. Almost went for that first kick and then kind of second-guessed himself and backed himself into a bit of treble. Good. The Sandhurst Dragons, their tackling has been superb this afternoon. They'll be well up in the tackling stat. And when you're winning by 40 points and winning the tackling statistic, that's a terrific effort.
And Stagg's got a couple of free kicks for tackling, so this is his second one. This time he's only 25 from goal, but a sharp angle deep in the scoreboard pocket. See if he can manufacture a goal here. He fires. Looks all right. He's happy with his work. It's a goal. Stagg gets his first goal, and the Dragons, their 8th. They move along to 8-2-50. South Bendigo are 4 behinds, 25 gone first term. Bendigo's Fresh FM, where local footy is our first choice. Thanks to Aussie Disposals. Here's Norm Jenkin.
Yes, it might be worth South Bendigo considering at this stage maybe putting a loose man down in defence and then running the ball forward because, Sandhurst are just flooding their forward line with numbers.
Taylor Strawn into the ruck now for Sandhurst. Crisp wins the tap for the Bloods. Was in the path of Haddo, who overran it. Just forward of centre now. The Bloods are going to get a free kick for 1-2 high. This will be given to McCutcheon. McCutcheon now by hand. He'll go to the coach, Childs. He's had a couple of possessions. Ugly ball. In fact, I don't know where Harvey come from, but he just came from nowhere for the Bloods, and they're going to push forward now. Back now to the coach in Childs, into the corridor. That's another ugly kick too, Ron, and they're going to clear off half-back the Dragons. Oh, not too quick there. Strawn won it, then lost it. Now with the Bloods, Isaiah Miller was at the back door, received a handball, who put it into the corridor. Over the top, over the back there is Andy Collins. He picks it up, gives it to a teammate, and they are away on the outer side of the ground. In fact, it's going to go out of bounds, and we'll have a ball in. 50 playing for Sandhurst. It is a 46-point margin at the 26-minute mark.
Around the grounds at Gisborne's Gardner Reserve, Gisborne 3 behind, Strathfield say 3-1-19, and Kyneton 3-5-23 lead Kangaroo Flat yet to score.
So Strawn and Crisp will go at it. It's across half forward for the Bloods. Crisp knocked it to the back of the pack, but it's all Sandhurst. Although the kick off the ground didn't hit the target. Childs might have got caught high. Umpire says you're right. And Brady Childs will take the free kick on 50. Has he got the leak for this, boys?
No, he's looking to dish off, Ronnie.
So he's just going to sit it up towards the top of the goal square. That's a good kick, Antonowitz, and a good lead, and he marks. Can the Bloods get there first in the shadows of quarter time? Let's hope so.
Well, it's a much... Antonowitz has probably had 2 or 3 shots in this pocket and he's missed them all. So hopefully he goes back and for South Bendigo's sake can nail this one because it is a much-needed goal.
Caden Antonowitz. Sorry, Keem.
That's right. 28 minutes gone in the first quarter, and if you can't get a goal in the first quarter, so not long now until quarter time, he needs to kick it.
So he's only about 30 out, 45-degree angle. He'll kick from about 40. Gets a long run up. And that's a goal. That's a much better kick. No, it's a touch on the line. I think it's over the line, Cam. It's a goal.
It's a goal.
So, thank goodness for that. The Bloods are on the board with their first major. 28 gone first quarter. Antonowitz gets his first. The Bloods there first. The Sandhurst 8-2-50. It's a 40-point lead. South Bendigo 1-4-10. With thanks to Holden, Colorado at Poyser Holden. Here's Cam Power.
Now, no soak puppet up here, but you can clearly tell just based on that kick that the wind is clearly blowing across the ground in the pool direction, Normie.
It is blowing across that way, Cam, and we just might wait and see how South Bendigo use it in the second quarter because I think that sort of held his kick back a bit too.
Yeah.
Back in the middle, Crisp again for the Bloods. Jumped high, jumped early, but lost it. Strawn of the Dragons didn't. Coughlin just sharked the footy. Runs to half forward, on the left, into the hot spot. Bouncing footy. It's a foot race. Broadbent ran hard at the footy and couldn't get there. It just tumbled over the line for a minor score. So that was a good build-up. 8-3-50 won the Dragons. 1-4-10 the Bloods. Almost quarter time as local footy is our first choice on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
Torpy goes to Crispy, was well spoiled by Strawn. The ball's over the boundary line and a throw in about 60 around from the Dragons' goal on the outer or swimming pool side. 41 points is the lead for Sandhurst as we approach quarter time. Throw in. Well, he might have been in the back, Chris, but I think Strawn's going to get a free kick for that. He is. So maybe a chance for a late goal to the Dragons. He handballs off and they drive it deep. Big Martin underneath it, couldn't mark. Sharking it brilliantly but missing was it Stagg? It might have been Coughlin. Yeah, Coughlin it was.
And he wasn't happy with himself.
No.
He gave his hands a little bit of a punch when he missed that one.
Well,
So-
he even steadied before he took the kick and just put it offline.
He knew he should have kicked that.
So the score is 51
Oh, look
playing
out.
10, and the ball's been kicked in quickly.
Why wasn't that a mark?
Why
Bloods.
wasn't it? Don't know.
Isaiah Miller did well to win that foot in, puts it up to the wing. That's Leroy Miller, by hand to Swatton, just weaves his path through the traffic. He was like a motorbike rider down Poppy's one in Cooter Beach, Bali. And then he puts
You know a bit about that, Johnny.
it on the chest of a teammate deep inside forward 50. Antonowitz again, he'll be too far out to score.
Just watching Joel Swatton and Lockie Ross certainly having a little bit of push and shove out there at the moment. That's a couple of times.
That's a
Into
great
the
kick.
corridor, wasn't it a good kick? And a mark's been taken by the Bloods.
Kick, I reckon.
Kick with the footy. If you've been down Poppy's one, you'd know what I mean about a motorbike rider there. Ronnie?
Plenty of Mercura current.
Oh, yeah. You take your life in your own hands. It's Will Keck. He's got that headband. And he found a bit of space there in that corridor, and they looked for him, which was a good bit of play, Antonowitz. Keck now. It's a long ball. He started at left, so you're right about that breeze. It tries to push toward goal, but doesn't. And another minor. So that'll be 1 goal, 5-11 South Bendigo, 8-3-51 Sandhurst. And we've almost gone 31 in the first, thanks to Priority One Property on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
And you mentioned South got the ball into the corridor. They've tried to do it all day, but they've got to be smarter with it.
Ross, long ball from full back. Running onto it, Wilkinson. Just handballs it inboard. Stagg forward to the centre. Good work here by the Bloods, though. They'll hold it up. Swatton combines with Miller. And they work it towards the wing. Siren goes, Johnny. It's quarter time.
It is quarter time in a very, very dominant Sandhurst here. They are leading 8-3-51. South Bendigo are 1-5-11. That is a 40-point margin. Looking forward at the other side of the break to see if South Bendigo can get back into this contest. Have been adjusted here. It's actually Sandhurst 8-4-52. South Bendigo 1-5-11. Let's get the second term underway. Here is Ronnie Rogers.
So tossed up, Martin will do the work again with Crisp, the ball to ground level. Broadbent, the first clearance for Sandhurst. Barrels one up towards half forward, bouncing footy. Gee, that was well done by Connors. He come from behind his man, took possession and then drove the ball inside towards the goal square. It come off hands to Stagg, had a snap but it was charged down. Collins is there as well. He tries to feed the handball out. Ken Bloods work it out. Good tackling. Ooh, big tackle by Parry. Brought his Bloods opponent down heavily. The Bloods weren't all that happy with him, I don't think. It was almost a sling
have
tackle.
A free kick, Ron.
Yep, and it will be a free kick to the Bloods. The handball is received by Isaiah Miller and he spreads it wide.
Spreads it wide to Blow. Blow now will put it beyond defensive 50. He was looking there for Haddo. Couldn't find him. On half back here now for the Bloods. But Martin picked it up there for the Dragons. They'll dish it around nicely. He received it back. It was the old 1-2. Still 50 out from goal
that was
now.
a silly handball.
I don't know what they were thinking there, Ron. And it's a bit of messy play here on half-back still for South Bendigo. We're going nowhere quickly. Eventually McCutcheon grabbed the football, then banged it on his boot to the wing. He looked for Leroy Miller. He got his hands on it, but eventually went over the line and will have a ball in. And that's a bit of play you wouldn't like to see again, Ron, if you want to get entertained, that's for sure.
No, the handball came out towards Ruff and he was surrounded. I don't know what his teammate was thinking there. Tossed in on the wing. Martin, big swat at it, knocks it into the path of Collins. Runs onto it, gets to attacking 60, goes to Connors and he marks. Geez, that was training drill stuff.
he's
He
pitched it
handballs off. Snap at goal is, dare I say it, across the face. It bounces and rolls out of play. Did he give it back to Collins, was it?
Yeah.
And that was interesting. I don't know why he just didn't go back and have a set shot, Cam, but we've got to throw in, Johnny.
That's one thing I comment about on modern footy. A lot of forwards take marks inside 50 and looking dish. Sometimes you just need to go back and kick your goal.
In fact, yeah, it is out of bounds. I'll tell you what it was, Ronnie. It was a bit of lairising. It was really lazy bit of work. As the ball now is still in that forward zone for Sandhurst.
Good tackle.
Long tried to weave through his pack and couldn't, and Swatton just bound him right up.
And they're having a little howdy-do.
Settle down,
And
boys.
50.
50.
Yeah. A lot of blokes don't like it when they get caught holding the ball, Johnny. They get a bit aggro, don't they?
They do.
He's had an excellent start
Oh,
in the
geez.
second quarter,
You see
Joel
that?
Swatton.
Bit of work off
Collins
the ball there. Collins
and,
kept on that. And Brock Harvey.
He's not too happy, Brock Harvey.
No, nor he should be. He got upended. This play will go on to half forward now to a hard-leading Leroy Miller for the Bloods, who's on right half forward. Too far out to score. A good 2 kicks. Just weigh up his options. Centering ball, he'll be looking for McCutcheon, but it's a 2-on-2 contest. Big fly behind. Good work, Sandhurst. Now again, have they got an opportunity through Crisp, the Bloods, over the top to McCutcheon by hand, who stepped over the boundary line, 52 out from goal. We'll have another ball in. So it's 52 playing 11. Sandhurst have got a big lead 3 minutes into the second, thanks to Aussie Disposals on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
Tossed in on 50 for the Bloods. Come down to Collins, who got a quick handball to East. Cleared the defensive area out towards the wing. Cleared all and sundry. Bounces in no man's land a bit. Strawn was there. He couldn't quite get hold of the footy. Working hard for South Bendigo. That was Nolder, and he was held up in a tackle. The umpire said, I'll have it. So still on the wing, swimming pool side.
They've changed that scoreboard again, Ronnie, too. Have a look at that. 8-4-52 again now we are.
Yeah, that's. I think that's what they changed it to, a quarter
did they?
time. Yeah. So Perry tried to toe poke it. Keck got a high tackle. He'll get a free kick away, the umpire. No, he won't. He should have. So again, a stoppage, Johnny. It's between wing and half forward on the outer side for the Dragons. It is 8-4-52 Sandhurst, South Bendigo 1-5-11.
Thanks to Total Tools, I might be a nomination for
Yeah,
Tool
you
of the
could
Week
be
with that
Tool of the
one.
Week.
I could be. Could be worse things as the ball goes inside forward 50 now for the Dragons. Isaiah Miller takes a mark. Oh, he marks it up. He tried to dish it off by hand. Now they're deep in the defensive zone.
Oh, look
Ended
at
up
that.
with Collins. He swooped on the football and over the top. His partner in crime again. That's Connors. In fact, it was Collins that give it to Connors. The old 1-2. Now
He's
he
got to
goes.
dish it off again.
He is. They're Leroying, aren't they? Broadbent just ran into the forward pocket and it was poor checking by the Bloods and he took a chest mark hard up against the line and he'll line them up for goal.
Yeah, very poor from South Bendigo inside defensive 50 there, Normie. Not wanting to man up players and just leaving players options open.
Yes, that's right, Cam. And, there was that much space there that there was 3 Sandhurst players all running into space.
In fact, it's Stagg with the footy. So let's see what Stagg does with it. Does nothing. In fact, he does something that's very, very small, a minor one. So it's 8-5-53 Sandhurst, 1-5-11 South Bendigo, 5 in the second, thanks to Aussie Disposals, as local footy is our first choice on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
The difference in this game at the moment is South Bendigo are very fumbly when they're picking up the ground balls, and Collins and Chloe are just picking them up nice and cleanly for Sandhurst, giving their teammates first use.
Torpy plays on from full back, then kicks it long. No mark. Keck almost at the fall of the ball. Bloods get a quick kick away. Hare out towards the wing. Bouncing footy beats McCutcheon and Broadbent over the line. Will have a throw in. True wing outer side of the ground. Sandhurst 8-5-53. South Bendigo 1-5-11. Ticking up to the 6 minute mark of this second term. Thanks to Aussie Disposals.
Sun blaring here at the QEO. Martin wins the tap to the feet. They all dive in over the footy. Throw a blanket over 4 or 5 players. And the umpire says, give it to me and I'll ball it up. Getting up with the footy was Hadow. He's been pretty good for the Bloods. Umpire throws it up again. Martin wins the tap. Again puts it at his feet. Collins is there, just bursts through the pack. It's an underground ball in the direction of Thornton. Code picks up the ball, however, for the Bloods. And another whistle on play. And a free kick is going to go to the Bloods. And this is Isaiah Miller.
Goes long to the middle of the ground. That's a good leap, good mark. Taken by the other Miller, Leroy Miller. He kicks it forward of the wing. Good mark taken. And the Bloods will go forward. Very short to McCutcheon. We'll try and pick that player up as he comes off the ground.
53.
Yeah, I don't think I've got him on my team sheet if he's 53. But McCutcheon has ended up with the footy. And he is about 47 metres out on only a slight angle. But he probably has the breeze almost behind him. Let's see if he can get the journey here for the Bloods. They could barely do with another goal. McCutcheon from 48. Not a bad looking drop punt. Has it got the legs? Hit the post. Into the woodwork. It's a behind. South Bendigo 1-6-12. Trail Sandhurst 8-5-53. 7 minutes into term 2.
Geez, they bring it in quickly, the Dragons. Coughlin got it in his defensive zone. Short, nice kick to Collins. Collins now, geez, he's a smooth mover. By hand, gives it to East. East now runs to the wing for the Dragons. Will put it inside forward 50. Looking there for Parry. Big fist from behind Bloods. In fact, it wasn't. It was Connors that was running hard at that footy. It was like a steam train. And he looks ominous when he gets near the footy. But we'll have a ball in 49 out from the Dragons' goal.
In quarter time, MCDFNL, Natty Bialaba 8-8-56, Denali 1 goal. Trentham 4-3-27, Talbot 5-5-35.
Knocked to the back from the throw-in. Plenty of Dragons numbers. The handball received from East. He just hooks it around the corner. Again, Connor's up. He's got it. He's good overhead.
Isn't he what?
And he's taken that mark. Probably only 35 out on a slight angle. And he's already kicked 3 goals. So he's lining up for goal number 4.
He's got a bit of confidence about him too. He's got that aura, don't you?
He's got the
Ron?
strut. He's got the strut
yeah.
going
well,
on,
I was
John.
being polite. He's got the Wayne Carey about him, hasn't he? Or the Dermot Brereton.
He's very confident. Let's see if he can find the major opening here. Left footer, offline. It's a behind. Obviously a lot harder kicking towards that end, I'd suggest, with the breeze that's prevailing. It's an even 7-goal margin, 42 points in favour of Sandhurst. 8.5 into the second, thanks to Priority 1 Property.
Torpy, short kick to Haddo of the Bloods. Defensive zone. Now long high ball. I don't like it. Crisp has got front position. Good punch from the rear by Martin. Coughlin sharked the ball. Gave to Stagg. Over the top to East. East now from 60. A long ball
That's
into a
great
hard
kick.
leading Thornton, who takes a grab directly in front. So good build up.
Too much time, Norm. They got too much time when they're bringing the ball forward. And Cam, they got too much time. East just had loads of time to get that ball into the right spot. Not enough pressure.
When a Sandhurst player's got the ball, it's almost as if there's 3 or 4... when the South Bendigo player's got the ball, it's almost 3 or 4 people are wanting to tackle him, but it's just a little bit too easy for Sandhurst with their possession at the moment.
Matty Thornton directly in front. Barnard Street end. Straight over the umpire's hat. And kicked his second for the afternoon. So Sandhurst, they'll increase the lead. They'll go to 9-6-60, leading the Bloods 1-6-12, 10 minutes in the second, thanks to Holden, Colorado at Poyser Holden, where local footy is our first choice, on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
Yes, and quarter time at Harcourt. Harcourt 5-2, Avoca 1 goal straight, and another good build-up by Sandhurst. And as you said, the pressure from South Bendigo is non-existent at present. Sandhurst players running everywhere, and they haven't got an opponent on them, and they're just it's just like a training drill at present.
Yeah, not enough pressure as the ball's tossed up in the middle, and here they go again. This time it's Parry. Long ball inside 50 for the Dragons. Connor's caught underneath the footy, but he might recover first. Might have been held without it. No free. Gee, the Bloods are making heavy weather trying to bring it out. There might have been a high tackle on the Bloods player there in Nolder. The umpire had a good look and then said, no, give it to me. Going to toss it up deep in the forward pocket for the Sandhurst Dragons. Martin knocks it across back towards the front of the goal square. No one could get hold of it initially. Now the ball's fed back towards Stagg. He dummies, then handballs over the top. Broadbent around the body to fall forward. Bouncing footy. Connors goes to ground, tackled, lost it. Was that holding the ball? No. Parry tries to win it back for the Dragons. The Bloods come in and just try and hold them up. Ugly bit of play. We'll have a bounce. It's only about 30 metres, past 40 from the Sandhurst attacking goal.
Kicking to the Barnard Street end. Umpire will throw it back up. Again, Martin gets his hands on the footy, puts it to his feet. A lot of players around the ball. We'll have another ball up. So under pressure here, the Bloods, because the Dragons, they do look ominous. As the ball is thrown up, Martin, that was a clever tap, but he tapped it to a Bloods player who kicks it up onto the wing. There's nobody home except for Lockie Ross. Lockie Ross now, he'll switch it into the corridor, and a mark has been taken by Oscar McKinley.
Goes onto his left. That was a good kick. Big Martin just stands there and takes the mark. And he's just going to bomb it towards full forward. Connor's got a couple to beat. Good spoil by Nolder. Ground level. Chance for Parry. Just throws it on the boot. Tackled as he did so. I'm not sure whether it's out in the full. I think it is. Or is it a mark? It might be the latter. Either way, it's a South Bendigo footy deep in the back pocket, Johnny.
Short little kick to McCutcheon. It's dangerous. Oh, I don't know what they're doing here, Bloods. And if mark has been taken by, looks like Price down there in the forward zone. In fact, it's Stagg. His kick is poor as well and intercepted by the Bloods. So they're playing kick-to-kick footy here. They'll switch it into the opposite back pocket to Brady Childs. Childs will go little short pass over the top. Looks for Keck. Keck's good enough. Another little short pass, and that's not good enough. And a mark's been intercepted by Sean O'Farrell. Sean O'Farrell will go into the corridor now, into the hot spot.
Grab. Paid? No.
Didn't quite mark it. That was Haddo. Had a lot of it. Ronnie wasn't paid. Now again, Childs. He'll dish it off by hand. They'll spread it wide across half back. Now ball. That's an ugly ball as well. Long is there for the Dragons. He'll go over the top to Collins. Standing start now to Price by hands. Back to Collins. He'll dodge. He'll weave. Put it on the left. He'll put it to the goal line. Bouncing footy at the rear of the pat. And a free kick's been taken. Advantages have been given. This is Isaiah Miller.
That's a better looking footy as he brought the ball out and Johnson takes the mark, does he? No.
I thought he was a bit stiff not to be
I
paid
thought
the
he
mark
had
there.
plenty of it. The umpire disagreed. The ball close to the boundary and it goes over. Does it?
No, I think it's a ball up.
No, righto.
You
She's
can
right
hear
on the
what South
line.
Bendigo supporters thought of that one in our
Yeah,
special effects.
they
Mike.
weren't too happy, were they? So,
Just around the ground, Strathfield say 4-2-26, Gisborne 1-3-9, Kangaroo Flat 1 straight 6, Kyneton 8-7-49.
Thornton tries to get a kick back inside the 50. It was smothered. Geez, McCutcheon might have got some high contact. I thought he should have got a free kick. What's the umpire say? Yep. And Dylan McCutcheon will take it at half back for the Bloods. They've battled hard the last 5 minutes. It's been all Sandhurst, but they've just been able to hold them up. McCutcheon, very short. It's okay. Sheehan got the mark for South Bendigo. Can they work the ball forward? Just drives it straight down the line towards the wing. Huge pack, no mark. Lockie Ross at the back. He'll tidy up for the Dragons. Got the handball to Broadbent. Handball to Strawn. Works it across half back. Lovely looking kick and the mark taken by Coughlin.
Coughlin plays on quickly. It was an ugly kick and intercepted by Antonowicz, who's now on left hard forward for the Bloods. He's got a leading player in Childs. Goes over the top of his head. Good defensive work. McKinley of the Dragons shares
Free
it nicely
kick
with
here.
Wilkinson and a free
Umpire
kick.
saying. It's a bit of aggro. Now he's playing the advantage.
He is, and they're away. Collins has got the footy now on
There's a bit
half
going
back.
on there, Cam. Keep an eye on that.
You know
They'll
what
go
they
the
say, you
old
watch the
1-2.
ball and I'll watch the fight.
To Wilkinson, back to Collins, back, and he's kicked a ball to Thornton. Thornton will dish it off now to Collins. Collins over the top by hand to Wilkinson. Wilkinson steps around a player too easily. Then he dishes it off by hand to Coughlin. Long ball inside forward 50, but an intercept by the Bloods. And the mark has been taken by Torpy.
Well, he'd like it again, Johnny, because he just kicked it straight out of bounds on the full. And it will be a Dragons ball.
Now, not sure what started that little brawl inside the pocket there, but Zach Hare had a little bit of an involvement from South Bendigo. He was the one that got off the bottom of the pack.
McLean with the free kick, boarded inboard. Mark taken by Wilkinson, and he's chipped it forward. Is that Holmes out there? He's been quiet, Holmes. Haven't
Yes,
seen much
mate,
of him
hasn't
today. He's taken the mark 60 from home.
He hasn't needed to get it, Ronnie, has
No,
he?
well, he hasn't, but unusually quiet. Chips it inboard and Price takes the mark, and he's about 40 out. He's going to go across to Strawn, and he'll mark it 40 out almost directly in front.
You only call on Blair Holmes when you're in trouble there, Ronnie.
Is that
One of
right?
those- yeah, he's one of those workmen-like, and the rest of the time he says, you boys do it for us.
Well, I haven't called him all day. That's the first time I've called him, so he's been very quiet. So Taylor Strawn with a shot at goal for the Dragons. He'll kick it from about 45 metres. Low raking drop punt. Won't quite have the legs. Knocked over the line for a rush behind. Sandhurst 9-7-61. South Bendigo a 1-6-12. 16 gone into this second quarter where Bendigo's Fresh FM. We're local footy, Johnny. It's our first choice.
Torpy will kick it in. Feels like a long time since the Bloods have kicked a goal. They need to get one on the board. They've battled hard. McCutcheon received it. Now give it back to Torpy by hand. Torpy, a left footer beyond 50. It's a poor kick. East was there. Gives it off to a teammate. He'll kick it inside forward 50 and Holmes a diving mark. And we'll have a shot at goal. So he's had two possessions in about 2 minutes, Ronnie.
Yeah.
And might put himself onto the scoreboard.
With the Sandhurst midfield depth, Blair Holmes almost not needed to play out through the midfield. He can kind of sit back and play off a flank or on a wing and just do what he does best.
I'm going to say I've only had one goal this quarter, gentlemen, and it's 17 minutes old.
Blair Holmes, Barnard Street end. He'll cross the paint mark of 50. A slow, steady approach. Good spinning footy. Just holds up in the breeze a fraction and then swings wide for another little one. So that'll take Sandhurst to 9-8-62 to the Bloods 1-6-12. 17 in the second, thanks to Priority One Property on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
So Torpy brought it in. Sheehan marked it for the Bloods. Going to go back to the goal square defensively. McCutcheon short into the back pocket on the other side. Found his teammate. And the Bloods just trying to work it out. Although that's a dangerous handball to Nolder. Collins is there. He'll pinch it for the Dragons. Handball's off. McLean, handball to East, chips it inside 50, and the mark will be taken by Parry. And he is almost directly in front and only about 35 to 40 out.
And a long first quarter down at Campbell's Creek. Carisbrook 17-3, 105. Campbell's Creek 117.
That must be a record, Norm.
Well, somebody said to me yesterday the 100 goals might be in danger, and I said no, but 17 first up.
Parry, long shot at goal, again offline. It's a behind, so the Dragons are going forward in singles at the moment. 9-9-63, South Bendigo 1-6-12, 18 gone, second term, thanks to Holden, Colorado at Poyser Holden.
Torpy again with the Bloods. Touches it to his boot, then plays on deep into the back pocket. Then he'll drive it long beyond 50. But a mark again has been taken, this time by Price of the Dragons.
Oh, that was a
But
shank.
that was a poor kick as well. Furness now off half back for the Bloods. He'll spread it wide to the outer side wing. Leroy Miller was held, then dished it off by hand. Now at ground level. Ross is there for the Dragons. Tries to drag it in. Spills clear to Broadbent. Off by hand there to Price. Price back to Broadbent. Broadbent now a little ugly ball inside forward 50 for the Dragons. Still on 50. Defensively now it'll be the Bloods. Short kick. And a player to mark that footy. He's that player that we haven't got the number there for, Ronnie.
I'm going to say it's Sam Marr, Johnny.
Sam Marr. Sam Marr brings it in the middle. Now it's South Bendigo. Keck with the football. Little one over the top by foot. That's effective. And a mark's been taken by Torpy. 70 out from goal. He'll swing and go into the hot spot. Big fist by Timmy Martin of the Dragons. Puts it over the line and we'll have a throw in.
Just going by process of elimination on that one to get Sam Marr. Late change into the side, was meant to be number 30, but I believe it's him wearing the number 53, Ronnie.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Good ruckman do that, Norm. Get back.
There was a poor entry by South Bendigo into the forward line. You don't kick to your full forward when the ruckman's down there making it 2-on-1.
So tossed in the forward pocket for the Bloods. Gee, they could use a goal. The handball comes out to Sheehan, but he's surrounded and dragged down. We'll have another stoppage. It's about 35 to 40 from the Bloods' goal. They trail by 51 points. We're at the 20-minute mark of the second term. Martin knocked it clear of the pack. Broadbent will run onto it, goes to ground, gets up, gets a handball to Collins. Confronted, just gets a little dinky one along the line. It rolls over the line and out of play on the 50. Attacking for the Bloods. We'll have a throw in. South Bendigo 1-6-12. Sandhurst to 9-9-63. 20 gone.
Well, the ball's been thrown in. I'll just go around the ground. It's Maryborough 1-1-7 at Golden Square 9-3-57 and Kyneton 10-7-61 at Kangaroo Flat 1-6.
In forward 50 for the Bloods, only marginally inside forward 50. And whistle on play for a ball up. So the umpire grabs it and does that indeed. Chris won the tap for the Bloods to no advantage of teammates. Worm was in there, did well. Now it is with the Dragons. Little give over the top. Just shugged, the tackle was long. He gives it to McLean. McLean will now kick a long high ball to half forward for the Dragons. Who can run onto it? Oh, it was good bit of play by Strawn. He picked it up nicely. A little handball inboard. That was okay to Connors. Connors now put it over the top to a teammate who'll have a long shot at goal. And I reckon that's through. That is another major to the Dragons. I'll just pick up that player that kicked the footy for you. It'll be 69, leading South. They are 1-6-12, and Jake Wilkinson has popped that one through. So, good forward attacking bit of play there by Sandhurst, as local footy is our first choice on Bendigo's Fresh FM, thanks to Aussie Disposals.
Yeah, terrific little kick to sneak that one through Jake Wilkinson. Something out of nothing for the Dragons, and we've got another score coming through from the big clash in the Heathcote District Footy League. North Bendigo 8 goals 2 to Huntley 3 goals 3 at half time.
Back in the middle here, Chris got it down, but Stagg just ran through them. Got a kick up towards the 50. Is that a mark? He had plenty of it. The Dragons player Connors. It actually came back to him somehow. He's tackled and lost it, thrown to the ground. That's a good tackle. And the free kick will go to the Bloods. Might be Nolder, I reckon, with the footy. In fact, it's Swatton, you're right. Got the handball away in the end. Got himself into a little bit of strife early on. Eventually it ends up with Furness. Gets a kick up towards or beyond the centre of the ground. Bloods control it. Kick forward by Belnaves. Up towards the 50, no mark. Dragons players come in at half back. Broad bent, long handball. Gee, get under that. Now, what's happening here? There's a free kick down the ground, is it?
Yeah.
He's aggressive today, Brady Childs, I tell you.
So it's going to go to the Dragons. And it's a little chip pass, and that's okay. The mark taken by hand.
Han will continue to switch it to McLean. Still off half back to Thornton. There was a neat foot pass. He's on the broadcast side. Left half back, hard up against the boundary line. To half forward, intended target will be Parry. Too long for him, spills to the back of the pack. Code is there, picks it up for the Bloods. Parry intercepted the ball, did well. Don't argue, then lost the footy. It was dislodged though.
Good
It
tackle.
wasn't incorrect disposal. Good tackling, Bloods. They're not going to be rewarded. In fact, it's going to go Dragons. Parry received the handball. Now he'll drive it long, looking for Connors. Got his hands on the ball, deep in the pocket.
Jeez, I don't know
Might have
whether
been
he had
held
the
without the footy.
Shit.
Umpire didn't agree, hard up against the point post, and we'll have a throw in. Unlucky there, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Connors has got his hands up claiming a mark. He's confident he marked that, but the umpire said nope, and he wasn't happy, so he storms off back to the goal square.
Throw in, deep in the forward pocket for the Dragons. They're well on top. Tossed in. Martin knocked it to the back. Only man there was Sheehan, but he's in trouble. Forced a handball under pressure. Did it okay though. Got it to Miller. Got it off to a teammate who kicked it along for the Bloods out towards the wing. Got a bad bounce there, Marr. That didn't help his cause. The Dragons will win the footy back. Quick kick forward by Worm off the left. Didn't travel a lot of distance. McCutcheon at the back will tidy up for the Bloods. Oh, his kicks are a little dangerous. Bring it inboard, but it'll work okay. Now they can get a kick and get clear.
To a one-on-one contest. Front position though, Dragons by Han. Han now, we took a safe chest mark. You just slow down the footy. You go to Holmes by foot. Still in the defensive zone, who marks it and then will spread it wide to the outer side wing. His intended target was Strawn. It was a bit high for him. A finger tipper comes to ground level. Coughlin backs
Oh,
up a
that's
footy.
high.
Oh, he got collared under the chin.
Not happy.
No, I reckon he might be hurt too.
They're not happy.
They're not happy. That was a bit crude, that one, as Lee Coughlin is on the ground.
I'm not sure who that was, but there was a couple of decent little swings thrown there.
He actually hasn't moved, Coughlin. Now he moves because about 5 players fall on top of him in the middle of a blue.
I reckon there's quite a few jabs being thrown under that pack at the moment, Ronnie.
He's not a well boy, I don't reckon, Lee
I
Coughlin.
reckon it was Childs that clocked him.
Well,
He has been a bit aggro today, Brady.
yeah, probably a long time out of the game, I suppose, and they tried to rough him up a bit too, Ronnie.
They're calling for
No,
a stretcher by the looks.
Yep.
No, or are they saying don't worry about it? Actually, he hasn't moved.
No, the stretcher's running
They're
out.
all remonstrating with Childs. It must
And
have
they're on
been
again.
him. And you might find him.
Oh, Joel Swatton just didn't need to do that, Joel Swatton. I'm sorry. You didn't need to come off. The pack had nearly broken away, and he just started again there. That's disappointing.
Well, you're right about the stretcher, and there's some medical staff out there. They've got a doctor out there as well, Sandhurst, who comes to every game, but he does not look well
Lee
at all.
Holmes remonstrating with Brady Childs. He's a little bit worse for wear after having having just about every Sandhurst player have a crack at him in the last couple of minutes.
So while this is happening, I might go around the grounds if that's
Good
okay
idea.
with you, Ronnie. We got
Good idea.
Maryborough 2-4-16 to Golden Square.
He's getting a few boos here, Brady Childs.
He hasn't been sent off, has he?
I don't think he's been sent off. I'm not sure.
Well, no one's coming on.
I think he might have had
I
a
reckon
yellow
he might have
card.
just got
Oh,
sent
really? Okay.
Yeah, anyway, so Golden Square 10-3-63, Maryborough 2-4-16, Gisborne 2-5-17, trailing the Storm 8-3-51, Kyneton 11-7-67 to Kangaroo Flat 2 straight 12.
I wouldn't say from what I saw it was deliberate. It was more like one of those reckless late, once you've done it, where you've gone, oops. That's the type of contact I reckon it was. And there was a bit of momentum through the pack there. He was running hard at the ball, Coughlin, and I reckon he's just got one flush, Ronnie.
Yeah.
You can hear in the background there, they're trying to work out if it was a yellow card or not. But no, I'm just saying when he came off, he got a big reception and no one came on to replace him.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it might be. Both sides have come together now to let the medical staff attend to Lee Coughlin. The score here, well, it's almost quarter time. Of course, we're into time on, and it'll stay that way until the clock restarts. But just Sandhurst, Cam, 10-9-69. South Bendigo 1-6-12, Cam.
Just retouch up that Kyneton score, 11-7-67 it says on our live app at the moment. There's actually 11-7-73 thanks to Norma. You pointed that little blunder out there.
As we've got a
Yes, Cam, I see it on the app there, and it's interesting that I get scores a lot of the time, and people either leave a goal out or add a goal on or leave a point off. But we're saying, Ron, before, how long is it since South Bendigo kicked a goal? It's at least now 34 playing minutes.
Well, it was late in the first quarter, wasn't it?
There was a 28-minute mark, and the quarter went
yeah.
nearly 35.
Yeah.
Half-time score from the Loddon Valley Footy League. YCW 14-8-92 to Morong 5-3-33.
There's a big stoppage in play here, as there's a number of medical
I actually
staff.
thought he got up initially, did he, Coughlin? Or
Well, it looked like it.
Yeah, and then he sort of... Now
And he fell to the ground. Yeah.
Well, he had to get up because there was a fight going on above him, and there's about 5 or 6 players that nearly they were trampling. So whether he just found that strength just to get to his feet and then got a bit wobbly again, but he certainly didn't move when he went down again.
Half-time score thanks to Jackson Saunders out. It is at the North Central Footy League. Charlton 1-1, Birchip Watcham 7-7.
But you do find now, Ronnie, if the medical staff get to them quickly, if they can't tell what's wrong with them, they tell them not to move, of course, don't they? Because it might not be that he's been knocked out. It might be that they've just told him to lay there and just wait till some expert opinion gets there.
So, excuse my ignorance, but does that mean they're one down now if he's been yellow carded?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Norm.
15 minutes, Ronnie.
Yep.
And a report as well, is it, Norm?
Yes, I think it is in this day and age. Yellow card's a report and 15 minutes off. A red card off for the rest of the game, but can be replaced after 15 minutes.
And is it 15 minutes of playing time or 15 minutes of with stoppage time for the listeners out there?
15 minutes of playing time, so it could go 22, 23 minutes.
Yep.
So Cody Price has got the footy as we watch
Getting a warm reception there. in
Lee
the background.
Coughlin come off the ground on the stretcher. We'll try and find out perhaps what exactly is going on there, how bad it is, but didn't look that flash, I must admit. Cody Price at halfback as we restart play for Sandhurst. Brings the ball across the ground. Josh Hands on his own, he'll mark. He'll run off halfback, then kick it long up towards half forward, clears the initial pack. Ground level footy, chance for the Bloods to work it out. It came out towards Bartels, who's fed out a handball. Now on the end of it is Hare, and he runs clear, and the kicks to McCutcheon, who marks on the wing for the Bloods.
Gives it to Keck. Keck now, long high ball to Harvey. Geez, he got lined up a little bit by
50.
Holmes, and 50. Just a little bit of undiscipline creeping into the game here. Emotions running high as Harvey's got a 50, which will take him only to about 20 out from goal on a probably 45-degree angle he shouldn't miss.
Yes, Blair wanted to make sure that Brock had earned the mark there, but unfortunately he was a fraction late with his bump.
He's kicked 12 on the season, Brock Harvey. He hasn't got one today. He's a good goal kicker when he can get up and about. Andy Collins stands at 25 metres, 45-degree angle. We'll get a good look at this ball to the city end. Brock Harvey. Oh, he skipped. Well, I probably don't have to describe it because the crowd tells the story. That is a minor score.
It was a shank.
A shank, a good old-fashioned shank.
I'm not sure about you, Normie, but that looked like an awful run-up and just an awful technique.
1-7-13 South Bendigo. Sandhurst 10-9-69. 31 in the second, thanks to Aussie Disposals on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
He just
Norm.
stabbed at it.
He has. He's kicked 12 goals for the year, but he didn't look confident kicking towards goal.
Zach East plays on from full-back, runs about 10 or 15 metres and then puts it on the chest of Matt Thornton, who marks at half-back on the outer or swimming pool side for the Dragons. Going to wind up and go fairly long. Martin up at the back, couldn't hold the mark, the ball to ground level. Siren. It's half-time and, had its moments in that quarter. Sandhurst at the long break, 10-9-69 South Bendigo, 1-7-13. That's a 56-point lead to the Dragons at half-time, Johnny.
Thought it might have went a little bit longer. Let's go round the grounds, Cam Power. They're saying they were NQR, but in this game they certainly have performed really well. For all the second half action, here is the boy from Eagle Hawk, Ronnie Rogers.
No, you're too kind. Thrown up in the middle. Chris knocked it down. Ball falls back under a number of players. Saw McCutcheon put his body in, and I think he'll win a free kick, will he, for a push? No, the umpire says I'm going to have it myself. So he's going to restart with another throw up. Ball knocked down to Big Martin trying to do his own roving. McCutcheon lays the tackle. That's the short and tall of it. It's not coming out. Johnny, you better have a crack.
just marginally forward of centre now for Sandhurst. When I say marginally, about 3 centimetres. Crisp won the tap for the Bloods. Kick was smothered out of the pack. Keck just won it. Now they're out. Receiving a handball was Bartels. He'll run to half forward. He's got a hard leading Antonowitz. In fact, it's Harvey. And he's taken a mark. And he'll line them up. Let's hope he has a better effort than last time.
That's probably the best passage of play South Bendigo's had for the day, so it must give them some sort of confidence that they get their hands on the ball. A couple of nice positions early in the third quarter.
Yeah, that's right, Cam. They won them 50-50 then, and then they were able to spread and make the play. And, that's what they haven't been able to do today. Sandhurst's been good in closing them down.
He was actually the main lead then, Harvey. There was a number of decoys, and he was the one that went right down the middle. I don't like the approach, but I like the kick. He puts it through the middle. I was a little worried then for his first. South Bendigo, well, they needed that one, didn't they? They'll go to 2-7-19, trailing Sandhurst 10-9-69. Just over a minute in the third, thanks to Holden, Colorado at Poyser Holden, where local footy is our first choice on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
Yeah, certainly not one for the goal-kicking purists, that little technique, but it got the job done, which is all that matters, as long as it goes through the big sticks.
Yes, that's right, Cam, and that was good to see from South Bendigo. As I said, Brady had to keep them positive at half-time.
So can they string a few together, the Bloods? That's the question. Running out of the middle is Collins for Sandhurst. Handball to Ruff. Feeds it back to Broadbent by hand. The Dragons. Now there's a whistle, is there?
Yes.
What's going on? It's coming back towards the middle of the ground.
Free kick.
And it is going back to Andy Collins. So obviously interfered with after perhaps he disposed of the ball. Chips it in short. Ruff's got it. Handballs off to the running Price. Chips it inside the 50 at the feet of Connors. Made it tough for him. Tried to break through a couple of tackles, then fed out a handball. The Dragons keep pushing it forward. It comes back to Connors, who puts it on the outside of his boot towards the top of the goal square. It bounces wrong side of the post and through for a behind. Sandhurst 10-10-70. Lead South Bendigo 2-7-19. 2.5 into the third. Thanks to our sponsors, Priority One Property, Bendigo's Fresh FM, local footy. It's our first choice.
Torpy, very short kick into the back pocket.
Looked like it bounced, didn't it?
It did. It looks like a half volley. He'll receive it back. So they just seesawed it across that deep zone in the back pocket. Now to kick, dangerous kick, comes off hands. They're going to get it through Parry. Parry now by hand to Collins. Dodges and weaves. He'll give it by hand to Ruff. This is Isaac. It just swings wide underneath the scoreboard. And a mark has been taken by Isaiah Miller. He'll come back in the corridor and he'll give it to Swatton.
So 35 from the goal, he's defending. Feeds it off to the run. The Bloods bring it towards the grandstand wing. That's a good kick. And it falls onto the chest of Harvey, who's been lively early in this third quarter.
He's really starting to get himself influential in the game. One of those players, as we mentioned earlier,
Not his best kick. He put it right on the head of Big Tim Martin, who just said thank you very much. Martin out wide, Price. That familiar run off half-back, kicks it towards half-forward. Mark taken by Stagg. He's 50 from home for the Dragons. Few leads, he ignores those initially. Now he's going to go to Collins, who made space, and he's marked 45 out, almost directly in front. Again, Norm, a little bit too easy. He just came down the ground, no one near him.
No, he didn't, Ronnie, and that's what, South Bendigo's defence have let Sandhurst do that all day. The Sandhurst boys, as we saw in the last quarter, are able to run into space at will, and they'll run, as I say, Sandhurst could have well and truly put the game to rest by half-time.
So Andy Collins has kicked a goal in the first term. He's lining up for his second goal. He'll kick it from 48, long drop punt. Has it got the legs? I think it does. It's a goal. And Andy Collins puts his side a little further in front with his second goal. The Dragons move along to 11-10-76. South Bendigo 2-7-19. 4.5, almost 5 minutes into the third quarter. Thanks to Aussie Disposals, here's Cam Power.
Yeah, Andy Collins is a good shot for goal. Usually kicks those ones, but that's a big goal. We need, South Bendigo need to get a couple of goals on the trot, and they can't afford to concede any goals really if they want to get back into this game.
No, that's right. You can't leave a player like Collins all on his own on the edge of the 50.
Martin wins the tap again in the middle. Geez, he's been prominent. Collins back into the middle as well. Contested ball, ground level. Still in the middle of the QEO. A very hard centre wicket as the umpire throws it up. Crisp won it for the Bloods. I'll get possession here. A ball that's swung wide. Long ball inside forward 50 through Hare. Ground level. Oh, that must be a throw by South Bendigo. They're going to get away with it. Hare picked up the footy and then lost it. Now it is Sandhurst off half back. Long ball out of side wing. It's a foot race. Who'll get there first? Isaiah Miller will. But he just fell over his own feet. Still hard up against the line. Code battles hard for the Bloods. So does Bear Thornton. And eventually we'll have it over the line. So we're right on 50. Forward 50 now for Sandhurst. 6 minutes have gone. It's 76 playing 19 and Sandhurst are dominating this game.
It's a 57-point lead. They led by 56 at the half, the Dragons. The ball to the back from the ruck contest. Bartels has got it, but the umpire's whistling it back. It's going to be a free kick to the ruckman, Crisp, who'll immediately hand off. Gets it to his teammate, Hadow. Up towards true half-back. That's a good lead by Miller. That's Miller of the Leroy variety, and he's taken that at half-back for the Bloods. He's going to go long down the swimming pool side wing. Huge pack, big Martin. He just read that. They jumped all over him, but he read it better and took the mark. He goes into the middle of the ground. McLean, been okay for the Dragons. Right in the bullseye. Now he's going to get 50. In the protected area, what was the go? Over the mark?
No, player in protected area.
Deary me.
We're still on record for the most 50-metre penalties in a game. I reckon we're getting close to 10, I reckon. We've had quite a few this afternoon.
Well,
this is going to be a costly one, this one.
And a couple of times, a lot of those, I think this will be the third 50-metre penalty that will result in a Sandhurst goal.
Jake McLean with the 50-metre penalty comes up to only 30 out from goal. Directly in front. Hasn't kicked a goal this afternoon, so he'll be keen to get his name on the score sheet. Comes in, kicks from about 40, floating, not a pretty kick, and he has missed. It's a behind. Sandhurst 11-11, 77, lead South Bendigo 2-7-19, 7.5 into the third quarter.
Torpy now will bring it to the broadcast back pocket. Geez, it was Ma that took a mark that was under pressure. He did well for a young man.
Set up in the wind a bit, that kick.
Yeah, it did. I thought he was in a bit of trouble for a minute. He'll go short by foot to McCutcheon. Made him work as well. Still in the defensive arc for the Bloods. A look at to bring it down the broadcast side. He's in the rifle pocket. City end. Just pops it up. Goes about 40. Geez, you hate that. Nolder got hands on it. Couldn't mark it. Picked up there by Strawn. A sweeping handball into the path of Broadbent. He puts it into the hot spot looking for Collins. It was a dangerous ball, but Swatton, he now rebounds for the Bloods and he kicks it long.
Well, he did well initially, but his kick was misdirected. Mark taken by Lockie Ross of Sandhurst. That's an interesting kick. Just popped it up to half forward. Thornton, the unlikely crummer, got it off to McLean. Handballs off to McKinley, inside 50. Went over the head of his initial target there in Stagg. Had to work back. Connors comes out to try and help him out. He's close to the boundary, though. Can't control it, and it goes out of play. 35 around from the Sandhurst attacking goal. The Dragons 11-11, 77. South Bendigo 2-7-19. 9 minutes into the third term.
Their half-time down at Campbell's Creek. Carisbrook 30, 14, 194. Campbell's Creek 2, 14.
Underneath the scoreboard again, contest forms. And the umpire's blown the whistle. I'm not sure if he's given a free kick or he's going to ball it up. Let's go around the ground in the Heathcote District Footy League, Cam Power.
Yeah, Mount Pleasant 15-18, 98 versus Elmore 5-2-32. And Lockington Beaumont United 7-7-49 to White Hills 2-5-17.
Again, the ball is put over the boundary line. No, in fact, we've got a
he's
free
paid
kick.
holding the ball against Parry, who was tackled over the line, Johnny.
So Adrian Code now of the Bloods, deep in his defensive zone. Oh, we put it in the corridor dangerously. There's 3 Dragons there. Why would you do that? Connors gets it, puts it on the left, and it was only because he was inaccurate that they didn't pay, and it's out of bounds on the full. And now they'll play on quickly. So, geez, Ronnie, I don't know what they were thinking then, do you?
They move the ball down the wing. Again, the Dragons have the numbers. One South Bendigo player battling against a few. That was Nolder, who did okay in the end. Got a handball out. Ma pushed in the back for mine. The umpire said no. I'll bounce it.
It's interesting, as I said in the first half, South Bendigo trying to go to the corridor all times, no matter whether it's right or wrong.
From the stoppage, Sandhurst get a handball. They feed it backwards to Collins. Hooks it around the body. Thornton was a target. It went over his head. Ground level ball now. Can't be kept alive by McLean, and we'll have a throw in.
Who kicked that into the corridor? We might have him a nomination as Tool of the Week in my book, I tell you.
I'm not 100% sure, Johnny.
I just didn't believe he did
Was it Code?
It might have been Code. We'll say it's him anyway.
Righto.
I'm happy with it.
Righto. I think you called Code, so I'm running with you, Johnny.
Yeah, it was Code for sure, as Martin just hacks the ball out of the pack, 70 out from goal in the direction of Parry. That was an ugly bounce for him. Still a 2-on-2 contest, and he wins, Parry. He'll put it on the left. He'll look to put it in the corridor. It slewed off the side of the boot. Still only 30 out from goal. Swatton battled hard, but he was all tied up by Stagg of the Dragons. And the tackling has been ferocious by Dragons. They've been good today. We'll have another ball in. So 77 playing 19. Whistle on play.
Shepherding.
Free kick to Dragons for a Shepherd off the ball, was it, Ronnie?
Well, the umpire just paid a Shepherd, so I don't know whether he was a nominated ruckman
Thornton
there.
must have
Thornton.
been. He must have been the nominated ruckman.
Must
The
have
South
been.
Bendigo player didn't let him get to the contest.
Yep, and the umpire was all over it. So a free kick will go to Matt Thornton.
So Bear Thornton, he's kicked 2, 1 in each quarter to date, I think, Ronnie. This will be his 3rd if he gets it.
Correct.
Just see what he does with the footy. Kicking to the Bendigo town end. Crosses paint mark of 50. He skips a little as well. He puts it wide, started it right, a long way right. Lucky to sneak in for a minor. So that'll take Sandhurst to 11-12-78 to 2-7-19. 12 minutes in the 3rd, thanks to Aussie Disposals on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
Hadow marked the kick in. Tried to get it off towards his teammate in Miller. Went over his head. In fact, went out of bounds on the full. So a free kick to the Dragons. Little chip inboard is okay. I reckon that's Worm that's got the footy for the Dragons. The youngster. He winds up and goes as long as he can. Collins underneath it. Good spoil put on. Ground level. Chance for Belnames. He couldn't trap it. Ooh, South Bendigo player went to ground. No push to the umpire. Thought they might have been in his back. It was Sheehan under all that, and the umpire said, no, I'll throw it up. So it's on attacking 50 for the Dragons. Umpire throws it up. Bloods get a quick kick out of defence. It pitches, bounces and rolls out of play. Just inside it did bounce. So we'll have a throw in, Johnny, between wing and half forward for the Sandhurst Dragons on our broadcast side. Sandhurst 11-12-78, South Bendigo 2-7-19. Bendigo's Fresh FM, where local footy is our first choice.
Up they'll go in the ruck. Put it ground level. A lot of players again over the footy. Keck was at the bottom there for the Bloods. It's been good today.
He has tried hard.
Umpire will throw it back up again in the direction of Haddo. He just had a fresh air at it. East did well. Dished it off to Parry by hand. Parry now long inside into the forward pocket.
Oh,
Collins
well
kept his feet. He'll swing onto the left and put it through the middle.
How good was that?
What a class act for his 3rd goal. He was always going to kick that. Classic Collins, kept his feet around the body and easy as you like. Sandhurst 12-12-84. South Bendigo 2-7-19. 13.5 in the 3rd. Thanks to Priority One Property, where local footy is our first choice. And didn't you enjoy that, Cam Power?
You did, but it's again, you can't leave a quality player like that in so much space normally. It's happened too often today that the Sandhurst players have found themselves in too much space.
They have, and he could have given that off to any one of 3 other players that didn't have opponents either. So, South Bendigo, they've got to fix up their skills, and they've also got to fix up their attitude towards manning up.
From the restart, Broadbent, well done, got it off to a teammate. Worm kicks it up towards or beyond the wing, in fact. Strawn's run onto it with that loping style, chips it into the forward pocket. Target there for the Dragons was O'Farrell. He couldn't take the mark. The ball goes to the back. It's still alive. Collins has got it off to a teammate who squares it up. That's a good
Beautiful.
kick.
Thornton it was.
And
Was it? Yeah.
no, I don't think it was Thornton.
No.
It was in fact O'Farrell.
Farrell, yeah.
And the mark has been taken by Broadbent directly in front, 40 from home. So he wastes no time. Zeb Broadbent fires, put it very high and not so handsome. It's a behind. 12-13-85. Sandhurst, South Bendigo 2-7-19. We're midway through the 3rd quarter, 15 gone.
Just got to get the ball over the boundary line in a situation like that, because it's just too easy for... It was a great kick by O'Farrell though to centre that one up and spot Broadbent there.
Torpy, the Bloods, touches the ball to boot, then plays on. Need to be careful. Gives it to McCutcheon. McCutcheon on the left. He'll be looking for Nolder, but Martin had front position and wins the mark.
Oh, gee.
He gives it by hand to Broadbent. He'll put it on his boot. Parry, running with a fly to the ball, was brave and takes a mark 45 out from goal. Pretty tight angle, though. He'll look to put it into the corridor. No, he doesn't. He looks to put it wide. Don't know what his target was, but it was just snuck in. I was going to say out of bounds on the full, but that's the general area that it went in the end. 12-13-85 playing 2-7-19, 15 in the third, thanks to Aussie Disposals on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
Sheehan marks the kick in for the Bloods, chips it in short. McCutcheon, who's trying hard for South Bendigo.
Probably South.
Oh, gee, I give him a rap
What
and
is
he's
that?
scrubbing it along the ground. Holmes picked it up, thought all his Christmases come at once, and then managed to kick it through the points.
Did he kick the ground before
Yeah,
the
it
ball?
was
or-
a grubber.
Oh,
12-14 now, Sandhurst 86, South Bendigo 2-7-9. And as soon as you give a bloke a rap, he's guaranteed to make a mess of it, Johnny.
Absolutely.
round the grounds in the Bendigo Footy League, Maryborough 2-8-20, Golden Square 12-5-77, and Strathfield say starting to kick away on Gisborne 10-6-66 to Gisborne 2-7-19.
Well, the Bloods have kicked it in again from full back, and now it's going to come back the other way. Geez, they're mucking it up here.
Story
It'll
of
be
the day.
East, who receives a handball. He goes short and finds Broadbent. He'll go short as well. He's kind of spread it into the pocket. At the back door was Isaiah Miller for the Bloods. He'll give it over the top to Haddo, who will now kick it long and find Marr. Marr's been pretty good, hasn't he? Once we found out what his number is. He'll come
Good kick
inboard,
too.
centering ball to Johnston. He's on the wing, defensive side. Now he'll switch it to a hard-running Torpy, but it's all now with Sandhurst. Will come back the other way. Collins received a handball. He'll dish it off. That's to Stagg. Stagg will put a short pass in the direction of Martin. Couldn't mark it. Nolder did well defensively, the Bloods. He'll kick it into the corridor, come off the side of the boot, and we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say he meant it there. Ronnie to Marr.
Yeah, he got it off. Finesse. Received the handball. Kicks towards half forward. No mark. Good tackle put on by Miller on his opponent there in Lockie Ross, and we've got a stoppage.
Just looking at both the debutants today, Marr for South Bendigo and O'Farrell for Sandhurst, they've both done a couple of nice things for their sides.
Both shown they can play a bit normie, I think. From the stoppage here, Stagg runs away with it. Handball over the top. O'Farrell again on cue, Norm. Got the handball wide. Blair Holmes, 80 from goal, chips it into the pocket. He wanted Connors. He was well spoiled. Bloods defenders do okay. They'll get a kick out of defence, which should be marked by Sheehan, although he was spoiled at the last moment by East, who comes in and ties it up on the boundary. In fact, it trickles over on the wing. We'll have a throw in. 18 gone, third quarter. Sandhurst 12-15, 87. South Bendigo at 2-7-19.
East has had a pretty good game for the Dragons too. Battled
he has.
hard on that occasion. This is Martin again. Too strong in the ruck. Keck was there for the Bloods, also swatting at ground level. They'd all dive in after the footy again. We'll have another ball up on that outer side wing. Swimming pool side. Up they'll go again. Martin, a big fist. He'll be looking for Collins. Just working it nicely. Ruff did well. Collins, some severe tackling in there. They've really been hard at the footy today, Sandhurst. As another ball up on left half forward.
Just noticing Brady Child's about to come back on the ground, being signalled 1 minute, and he's still getting some words from the Sandhurst faithful on the other side of the
I'm
fence.
sure he will for the rest of the day, Ken.
Cody Price now wins the footy, gives it to Ruff by hand. Good tackling. Also offering support is William Long. We'll have another ball up, and let's see if in fact it's going to be a free kick there, Ronnie Rogers.
So
The Bloods.
the Bloods have it on the outer side. Little chip pass is okay. Keck's tried hard. He's taken the mark. Waves a bit of traffic. Puts it on his right. He goes long down the line towards half forward. No mark. Back of the pack. It's all Dragons. Handball to Broadbent. The old give and go. Ends up now with the Dragons through Dole. Can kick it wide to Collins on the bounce. He's on the wing. Puts it on the right boot. He wants Connors. One grab, two grabs, three grabs. He's got it. Too far out to score though. Wheels around on the left. Oh, that's a horrible kick. He wants the big fella Martin. He's caught behind the play. Two South Bendigo players spoiled each other. What did the umpire say? A mark, did he?
Yeah.
Gee, I don't know whether that was a mark. Either way, they'll run away with it off half back. This time through blow.
Brady Child's back on the ground now, boys.
Good smother.
wasn't what? It's good work in there by William Long. He's a good young player, but they're going to be pinged, Norm, so unlucky, I reckon. The Bloods will get this free kick on right half back. Good, just the desire by Sandhurst today. It's been really good. They've answered a few questions today, I reckon, Sandhurst, with their just getting their game back on track. They started off on fire. Kicked 7 without scoring behind as the ball is swung across half-back for the Bloods. Ends up with Torpy, the old seesaw from one half-back flank to the other. Now Torpy will go into the corridor to Miller. Miller's short pass, barely the required distance to Johnston. On half-back for the Bloods, worm-burning ball to Keck inside the centre circle, and a free kick will be given to Sandhurst, and they'll bring it back the other way.
Big leap at the back there for the Bloods by Torpy. Couldn't hold the mark though. The Dragons work it forward across half forward. Holmes is on the end of the handball. Look out. Good chase, good tackle. And it will be a free kick to the Bloods. Who do you reckon that is, Cam?
South Bendigo doing the jumper changes.
Number 30, which we don't have on our sheet. So it is a Bloods free kick and a 50-metre penalty. So I'll let you boys discuss that. While
Maybe a jumper might have been ripped in that melee in the
could have
second
been,
half, possibly.
could have been.
That's definitely the first time I've seen 30 out there.
Yeah, just to make it a little tricky for us. So the handball off. Now, what's the umpire
Oh, it's a
saying?
100-metre penalty.
And he's going to kick a goal now, Cam. That's going to make it worse.
Oh.
The umpire didn't call play on, and poor old Blair Holmes went to try and knock the handball down and was pinned.
Now, I've got to say, I don't really enjoy the 50-metre penalty rule, and even less so when it's a 100-metre penalty.
Oh, it's a much-needed goal for South Bendigo.
Well, it will be, but, I mean, taking the ball from one end of the ground to the other, the umpires.
Well, South Bendigo can't do it, so the umpires need to get them down there.
Well, whoever number 30 is, he's going to kick a goal.
Could you say it's their best passage of play of the game?
I don't think so. He shoots and he does goal. So I'm just going to write it on my sheet here as a goal, and we'll work out who's had that jumper change shortly. But it is a goal to South Bendigo. Sandhurst 12-15, 87. South Bendigo move along to 3-7-25. We're 23 minutes into the third quarter. Bendigo's Fresh FM. Local footy is our first choice. Here's Norm Jenkins. What do you think about that, Norm?
Yeah, well, it's interesting, Ron. South Bendigo, an excellent start to this quarter, considering they were one man down. They've stopped Sandhurst from putting the score on the board. There's been 2 goals, 6 for the quarter, and they've kicked 2 goals themselves.
Yeah.
Around the grounds, Cam Power.
Yeah, North Bendigo 12-5 to Huntley 4-8 at three-quarter time. So North Bendigo putting some dominance down in the Heathcote League again.
The Bloods are going to push forward again, a long kick that goes deep in the direction of Crisp. It's going to be, however, the Dragons who will work it nicely out of that back zone. A kick comes to the wing broadcast side. Collins is there. Again keeps his feet. That's what he's good at, Ronnie, keeping his feet where others don't. Gives it to Dole. Dole dishes it off to a teammate who kicks it to the wing, and a diving mark. It's been taken by O'Farrell, who's been good, the young man. Sweeping long handball to a teammate. That was okay as well. I'll move it nicely inside forward 50 now, the Dragons. The ball just is bubbling and ends up with McKinley. McKinley's got a hard leading Tim Martin, who just takes a nice uncontested mark in the end, and 35 out on a pretty, well, it's not even an angle, it's directly in front. He'll line them up.
Again, it's all too easy for Sandhurst. Once they get that clear possession, their run's just too good for South Bendigo at the moment.
Let's see what Timmy Martin does with a footy to the town end. He doesn't do
Missed
a
the
lot.
lot.
Doesn't bother the score, and it goes out of bounds on the full.
Half the players gone back into the middle expecting a ball up.
Well, that was a shocking kick coming out of defence for the Bloods. Went straight down the throat of McLean, who said thank you very much. He chipped it back into the corridor. Couldn't find a target, though. Chance here for the Bloods. Zach Hare gets a long kick out of defence. Mark will be taken by Harvey. He gets it up towards the 50. A quick kick forward into the pocket. Didn't hit a target, though. Oh, good tackling. He's in a bit of trouble, Hand. The umpire says holding the ball, and it will be a Bloods free kick. And Tonowitz will take it. That was good work by the spearhead, and he'll go back and kick for goal from the forward pocket.
If they can sneak 2 or 3 goals in the last 5-10 minutes of this quarter, do we give them any chance? Because, of course, they will be going to the scoring end in the final term.
Oh, big arse there,
I reckon
Ken.
they've got about as much chance of winning as I ever win on Lotto tonight, and I haven't got a ticket. So what does that tell you? Anyway, let's see what Antonowitz can do. Tied on the boundary, check side, banana.
Hit the post.
Well, it's a behind either way, Cam. I'm not sure whether it hit the post. Did it hit the post?
Yeah,
it's wobbling a little
definitely hit
bit.
the post.
So Sandhurst 12-16-88. The Bloods move along to 3-8-26. And we are 25 into the third.
Oh, look at that barrel into the middle of the ground for Sandhurst. Bear Thornton got hands on footy. Just spills to half forward, diving in on hands and knees. Ma did well for the Bloods and tied it up. So, as a forward player, that was a good bit of defensive work. You like seeing your forwards working hard like that.
What's going on in the last quarter in the AFL, Cam? Because that was pretty close, that game.
I
Get an update from you?
Oh, there's a reason I've gone quiet on that score.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Port Adelaide were 20 points up last time I checked.
You're
21
one of
points
those.
with 27 minutes
You're
to go.
one of those, aren't you, Cam?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just go missing.
He's a
as a ball.
fair-weathered friend.
That's exactly right.
I thought you might have cottoned on when the Carlton hat came off.
Oh, no, I didn't. I'm not that smart, Cam. Don't give me credit where it's not due.
Meanwhile, back in the at the ranch, Isaiah Miller, he'll pass it again to Ma. Ma will switch it wide. He was looking for Bartels, who's been relatively quiet for the Bloods this afternoon. Spills in the direction of Swatton. Keck offered support. Did well. Umpire lets it go. Bartels now from beyond 50, right to the goal line, and it is just been touched.
It's a free kick.
Free kick right on the line, is it?
Yeah, Quade Johnson being held in the goal square, and he one of those free kicks
Antonowitz.
where
Yeah, it won't be Quade Johnson because he's not playing.
Antonowitz, sorry. But you know when players sometimes throw it back and then, of course, the jumper's being pulled, so professional free kick, I guess you could call it.
If he misses this, I'll get nude in the box for the rest of the
Oh,
game.
let's
Ronnie.
hope not.
And he's
Bit cold for
missed
that
it.
too, Johnny.
He's missed. No, he's put it right through the middle.
It wasn't right through the middle, he almost missed it.
Well, he was just teasing me. That's his second. That'll take South Bendigo to 4-8-32. Sandhurst 12-16-88. 27 in the third. Thanks to Holden, Colorado at Poyser Holden, where local footy is our first choice on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
Yes, and a score update, MCDFNL, late in the third quarter, Harcourt 13-9 to Avoca 3-2. A good passage of play by South Bendigo there. They were once again shown that they can play good football when they can move the ball and run into space.
How's Campbell's Creek tracking along on that
Oh,
score
cut
out
it
there?
out, Cam.
I'm interested to know if they can pull it back a little bit.
Well, half-time was 30-14 to 2-2.
Right.
From the stoppage in the middle, Blood's got a little toe poke to it, gained about 15 metres. Now it's sort of half tied up. The Dragons feed the ball defensively. Broadbent, leather poisoning today. Feeds it out wide. Partner in crime, Holmes. Beautiful kick to Collins, who marks on the chest. Swings around on that left foot. Spears it inside 50. No mark taken. Bloods work overtime in defence. The ball goes to the back of the pack. Chance here for Torpy. Needs to be calm and cool and does it pretty well. And found his mark there in Crisp. He got the handball away, and now the Bloods are out on the outer side through Swatton.
Swatton now will run a long way. He'll have a bounce. He'll look to have a second. No, he decides to kick it. It'll go inside forward 50 the Bloods. He'll look for Antonowitz. Keeps his feet. Grabs the football. He dishes it over the top to Harvey. Harvey towards the goal. Bouncing footy. Oh, it's still alive. Keck picks it up and puts it through. In fact, it's not
Jesse
Keck.
Sheehan.
It's Sheehan. They've both got the headbands on, but what a good bit of play by South Bendigo. A very good build-up. So South Bendigo will now go to 5-8-38. What's that, a 50-point margin, 12-16-88, 29 in the third, thanks to Priority One Property on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
Yeah, in the Loddon Valley score coming through, YCW Eagles of Maiden Gully. 2013-133, have got a comfy lead on Morong 6-7-43.
And at three-quarter time down at Trentham, the home side 6-8, trailing Talbot 9-8.
Pretty good game of footy down there, Norm. by the
still
sound
A very
of it.
good game of footy between two.
Almost a must-win for Trentham.
It is a must-win for Trentham.
Knocked down. Crisp will do his own roving. Smothered by Collins, though, as he tried to get the kick away. The handball finds Strawn, who just spirals one inside 50 for Sandhurst. Back of the pack, who can run onto it? Almost a shot at goal by the Dragons through Dole, but he was just dragged down at the last moment. And the siren goes for three-quarter time. Sandhurst 12-16-88, leads out Bendigo 5-8-38. It's a 50-point lead at three-quarter.
He's been the only three-quarter player for South Bendigo so far. Continues his good form. Brock Harvey came into it a little bit. Brodie Haddo had a good third quarter to follow on his second. Braden Torpy and Will Keck have both been getting a lot of the football, and Caden Antonowitz gave them a focal point up forward.
And here for the final quarter, this is Ronnie Rogers.
You're very kind. Let's get this last term underway, see if the Bloods can make some sort of inroads. They're going to get the clearance, although Bartels met heavily and lost the footy. South Bendigo player had the ball, and the umpire said he was tackled illegally. It is McCutcheon under all that, and he will take the free kick in the middle of the ground for the Bloods. Now, Thornton might have been in the protected area there. He might have been a bit lucky to get away with that. Umpire lets them play though. McCutcheon inside 50, no mark. Chance here for the Bloods. The handball comes to Bartello. He had a little fumble. Now he's got a problem. Tackle. Feeds it back to a teammate in Haddo who got it to him originally. He gets the kick forward and the mark will be taken by Belnaves. And he's within range, about 40 out on about a 45-degree angle.
I think that number change from Sam Maher might have been between a long sleeve and a short sleeve jumper.
Ah, righto.
I believe.
Was he cold?
I believe.
Did you get cold when you were running around, Johnny?
I always had a long sleever.
Did you really?
Number 77, Ronnie.
Yeah, geez, you could have got a number any higher than that.
I'm surprised you didn't know that.
No, I didn't. Belnaves from 40, high, through. He's got it. I didn't like it off the bit. I didn't think it was going to be a goal, but it snuck in. South get their 6. They go to 6-6, 42. They trail Sandhurst 12, 6-8-44, I beg your pardon. They trail Sandhurst 12-16, 88. We love that scoreboard, don't we?
We do.
It's a 44-point margin in favour of the Dragons. But South get the first goal of the last quarter, Cam.
Yeah, it certainly made the goal umpire work, that's for sure. It was that high that nearly went over the top of the goalpost.
Give us the best players you thought in the third term there for Sandhurst, Cam.
Yeah, for Sandhurst, I thought Zeb Broadbent's been pretty good. Blair Holmes got involved a bit in the third quarter. Taylor Strong got his hands on the ball a little bit. And Matt Thornton was probably their best, I thought, for the quarter.
And let's go around the grounds. Newstead 10-8-68 to Royal Park 11-6-72, Normie. So not sure if you had that one coming in. Craig Ginnivan is at that game. As off half back now it will be long for Sandhurst. He'll spread it wide to a teammate in East who bangs it on the boot, puts it at the ankles of Thornton, and the ball goes over the line. We'll have a throw in. On half forward here, Sandhurst are doing the attacking. They've got a big lead here, 88-44. That's double in my book. See if they can get some goals back.
Your mess is sublime, Johnny.
Put a dollar sign in front of it and I'll be right every time, Ronnie.
You blokes and your money.
Now it's on half back. Oscar McKinley. It's all the money I'm earning from being a commentator as ball comes off hands.
Yes.
And it'll be a throw in on the outer side wing. 88 playing 44 on, as local footy is our first choice on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
So, the Bloods with the first of the final term. From this stoppage, Martin got it down. Sanders' player had the footy, but he's immediately tackled. And the umpire said, I'll have it, fellas. So, the umpire's moving pretty slowly out there.
Yeah, talk about the AFL umpires throwing the ball up not quick enough.
Crisp did his own roving, knocked it away towards Haddow, got it off at close quarters to Hare. He got a kick up towards the wing, and the mark taken by McCutcheon, swimming pool side of the ground. So the Bloods try and build again. They've been much better in the second half. The long ball up towards half forward, no mark. Off the pack, the Dragons control it pretty well. The handball was meant for rough, but Sheehan got in the way for the Bloods. He got the handball off, and eventually South get a kick in towards the forward pocket. It bounces close to the boundary after it came off a couple of sets of hands and went out of play. 44-point lead to the Dragons, early going final term. Bendigo's Fresh FM, where local footy is our first choice. Here's Johnny Hunter. He'll take up the call as the ball's deep in the forward pocket for the Bloods.
Up they go in the ruck. Crisp won the tap. The ball's just hacked out of the air by Collins of Sandhurst, beyond 50, looking for Thornton, come off hands. McCutcheon did well, and the umpire will throw it back in.
Noticing a bit of numerology on that scoreboard. If you go South Bendigo got 6 goals, add another 6 at Sandhurst, have got 12. 8 behinds makes 16 behinds for Sandhurst, and double 44, you get
You taking all this in, Johnny?
Kingo's Cam's been to school.
Gee whiz, I'd rather watch the soccer than listen to that, I'll tell you what. As it's Sandhurst now with the ball. They've got it in the defensive zone. They need to be careful. This is Ross, who's been relatively quiet. He'll spread it wide to east. Still in his defensive zone. He'll swing it back the other
Oh,
way.
that's
It's an ugly
a
shank
shot
ball.
and kick.
Oh, he clean bowled Brady Childs. He had an open goal if he had collected it and didn't. And it tumbled towards the line. And an opportunity probably went missing, even though it was an ugly ball to try to pick up, Ron.
I know they don't do that anymore, Norm, but gee, I thought someone might have taken to Brady Childs a bit since he's come back on the ground.
No, well,
No
look,
one's gone near
I
him?
think he copped it a bit before everything else happened.
Maybe so. Throw in. Martin got his backhand to the footy. Dragons try and work it out of defence. Broadbent got it off to a teammate. Might have been long. We've got to kick up towards the wing. No mark. Taken by Code, immediately tackled. Umpire said no prior, I'll bounce it.
And if you're a smart Sandhurst player today, finals round the corner, you don't want to be having a bit of time on the sidelines.
I think the fans have given Brady Childs enough this afternoon.
From the stoppage, Martin, clean possession, just hacks it forward. Bounces it up forward of the wing. Clever tap on there by Thornton. Tried to make a path for his teammate. In the end, good tackling by the Bloods, and it's held up again, Johnny, so we'll have another stoppage.
Just forward of centre for the Dragons. Didn't you say you didn't think Sandhurst were going to make it, Norm, or was that Cam that said that? I reckon you reckon Gisborne were going to make it, didn't you?
Yeah, I mentioned that. I did mention that, but Gisborne are winning this afternoon. Gisborne aren't going to win this afternoon, so that will make it interesting.
It's a big punch inside forward 50 for the Bloods, but a rebounding ball now, Dragons. It's okay to McLean. It's an ugly handball. They're going to get away with here to Stagg. Stagg over the top to McLean. Well, they tried the old one too, but McCutcheon intercepted.
High. Come on, umpire.
East hit him high, Ron, you're right.
He was almost blindsided, the umpire.
More excuses than bloody...
I don't know what. Yeah, that's it. As we'll have a ball up.
You're right. You're right. He was on the wrong side, but I don't know.
Umpire ball it up now. Martin Ruckwork.
I'm not going to beg the umpires. I'll
Stagg
get in
did
trouble
well.
if I do that.
Handball to Collins. He's a smooth mover. Puts it up to Thornton on half forward. Parry offered support, but they're going to rebound here. Oh, look out. Parry. He just ran down that South player. Don't you love that as a coach? And a free kick is going to go the way of Sandhurst. You'd forgive them to be pulling up the stumps now, but they didn't, Ron, and Parry's been rewarded for all his good
You'd have to almost
work.
think Liam Bartels might be a
The same thing happened. Brady Childs has dragged down Broadbent. Advantage is paid. The Bloods will go forward. Bartel's got a long kick inside 50. No mark taken by Antonowitz. He's got to work hard. He's got 3 or 4 to beat. Coming in to try and help him out now for the Bloods is Hare. He's held up in a tackle and will have a stoppage. Am I getting abused from outside there, Johnny? I'll tell you what, I'll get down there and start swinging in a minute.
Good on you, Dick Turner.
Yeah, I'm not as big, not quite. For those that can remember the great Dick Turner. The handball comes out for the Dragons. Stagg's got it. He's at defensive 50. Just wants to handball. I don't know that was the best option, but it will come off. Parry got a kick up towards Thornton and went over his head. That was the initial target. Code's got it. Dragged down by 2 Sandhurst opponents, and we'll have another stoppage. Sandhurst 12-16-88. South Bendigo 6-8-44. 8 gone, final quarter.
I reckon Dickie Turner loved his KFC too, Ronnie.
Probably sent him to an early grave. Won't happen to me.
Broadbent now bangs it on the boot to half forward. Oh, Collins is hurt. Keep your eye on him. Might have dislocated a finger there. Thornton, he grabbed the footy. He put it on the boot, and he had a hard leading teammate in Ben Worm, who's come in this afternoon from the Pioneers. It was probably called Kentucky Fried Chicken back then too. They didn't have any of this mnemonic stuff going on, Ronnie.
No, none of those abbreviated names going on, that's right.
Yeah, I reckon you should stop mnemonics ASAP because they don't just quite make sense.
ASAP, as soon as possible.
Did you get that?
I did.
Cam?
I don't think Ronnie did, but
Nah, I wasn't listening.
I won't bore you with this intelligent humour anymore.
Righto.
Worm, a long, high ball, right to the line. They'll
That's a good
fly.
mark.
And a good mark has been taken by Big Taylor Strawn. Reached for the sky, took it at his pinnacle, and he'll line them up directly in front. The umpire will straighten him up because it's one of those ones, Ronnie, where it's right in the corner of the square. And he'll pop this one through, no doubt about it, and does. That's his first of the afternoon. Sandhurst now, they'll be 13-16-94. South Bendigo 6-8-44. 9 minutes in the first. Thanks to Holden, Colorado at Poyser Holden. Local footy is our first choice on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
And South Bendigo have battled hard this quarter. They've added a bit of respectability. They've gone in hard at the football, and that's why it's taken Sandhurst nearly 10 minutes or 9.5 minutes for their first score of the last quarter. So after half-time, South have certainly been creditable.
Back in the middle, you're spot on, Norm. Crisp got it down. Coming through was Connors. Got a handball out, but it didn't hit the target. And the Bloods will get it forward. Bouncing footy up towards half forward. Miller over it. He's held up by Lockie Ross, and the umpire said, "Mine boys." Now, the issue we've got is we've got a 53 out there again, some for South Bendigo. I'm not sure what's going on there. Anyway, we'll soldier on. Martin got it down. Working hard, Keck with Holmes. Again, a stoppage, Johnny. It's right on 50 here. It will be thrown up by the umpire. It's a 50-point lead in favour of the Dragons.
Up they'll go in the ruck. Contest ground level. Bloods. Crisp received a handball. Kick was smothered. Was it a bit of a falcon? I don't know if you quite like the camp. East flicks it over the top. The handballs, a series of them, was nice. Ended up with Holmes. He'll now drive it long to half forward. Don't know if he had an intended target there. Strawn was there. Puts it to the front of the pack to Collins. He's a Rolls Royce. He'll go back to Strawn by hand. Strawn is good enough. Picks it up. 49 out from goal. Handball to Collins. Collins now straightens up to the goal. Right to the line. Defensively, Bloods. And a good strong mark has been taken, and they'll clear it quickly. And this time it ends up with Ma of the Bloods.
Back pocket. And they work it towards the wing. And they can just steady the Bloods and try and work it forward in towards the corridor. The mark taken by Big Crisp. Handballs off to a teammate who handballs to Keck forward of the centre. He gets the ball inside the 50, but it's all Sandhurst at ground level. Picked up here for the Dragons by Wilkinson. Handballed off to a teammate who got a kick defensively long. That was well done. Connors is up there. What's he doing? Got a handball off. Kicked it to the wing. Parry couldn't mark, but his recovery's good. Shrugged the initial tackle, then he's forced to feed it off. What's the umpire going to say? Holding the ball? Thought that was a bit harsh. But the free kick will go to Code of the Bloods.
Code. Normally, I think you've got an update.
Yeah, we've got an update. MCDFNL halfway through the last quarter. Royal Park 14-7, leading Newstead 10-8.
It's their big night out there at Newstead tonight, isn't it? The anniversary of the grand final, Norm?
It is the 25-year 1993 premiership.
Sure, that won't spoil the event, as Ma for the Bloods will put it to the wing. Thornton is there. He won a contest, did well. Furness, Thornton, handballing nicely and neatly.
Good kick.
And it was a good kick.
McLean, I think, mate.
McLean has marked it.
No, he kicked it.
Oh, sorry, kicked it rather. And Collins has taken a mark. Got a bit disorientated, not only with me vision, with me voice there, Ronnie.
But you're right now, though.
With the old binos, I went from up to down and then lost it. So let's straighten right up. This is Collins with the footy. Barnard Street end. 94 playing 44.
Getting dark, Johnny.
It is.
With all that time on that we had with the injury, it's going to be a late finish here.
And Collins, swinging footy, will slam it into the post. He celebrated a goal, and of course it wasn't. So
that's embarrassing, isn't it?
It is when you high-five all your mates there. So 13-17-95. Sandhurst 6-8-44. The Bloods 13 in the last, thanks to Priority One Property on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
Right in the grounds, Maryborough 4-9-33 to Golden Square 16-8-104. Gisborne 3-8-26. Strathfield say 15-18-98. And Kyneton in control against Kangaroo Flat.
Code boarded in, but the ball was knocked out of play. So we've got to throw in. It's still in the forward line for the Dragons. Connors off the pack, just read it beautifully and kicked a goal. That was a terrific bit of solo work from Daniel Connors, and he kicks his fourth. The Dragons move along to 14-17, 101. South Bendigo 6-8-44. 14 gone final term. Is Norm Jenkins.
Yeah, another good passage of play there by Sandhurst. They've been very good at the breakdown from either throw-ins or ball-ups today. They moved the ball out, and Connors made no mistake from in the pocket.
Back into the middle now. Halfway through this last term.
Out to 57 points again, Johnny.
Yeah, could get ugly here if Sandhurst get right on their bike. Broadbent won the footy and just slipped it over the top by hand. Rebounding here, it'll be Torpy for the Bloods. His kick is intercepted, so it's going from one end to the other. Kick to kick, Broadbent. Now we've spread it wide to the wing. Nice bit of work by Ruff. He'll go over the top by hand to Holmes. Holmes now will drive it long into the hot spot. Collins is there. Oh, he threw a boot at it. Was unlucky not to kick it. Now it'll be South Bendigo and they'll clear through Zach Hare.
Got it out towards Swatton at half-back. Gee, that's a dangerous kick. Ma was spoiled. The ball found its way into the middle, though. McCutcheon got the handball off for the Bloods to Hadow. Got it forward. Antonovich took the mark, sprung to his feet, fired and missed. It's a behind. 6-9-45 South Bendigo. Sandhurst 14-17, 101. Ticking over 15 minutes in this final term, thanks to Aussie Disposals.
Yeah, from that little passage of play, you'd say that Caden Antonovich not confident to go back and have a shot at goal. He should have gone back and lined that up instead of playing on.
You'd think someone that's kicked 42 goals for the year would be pretty confident behind the sticks.
Josh Hand received the kick in from fullback. Then he pops it over the top by foot. Geez, he looked for a teammate. That was Strawn. He couldn't mark it. They're good enough, however, through Holmes. Handball over the top to Stagg. Stagg, a little one again over the top. Will he butter up his own ball? He can't. It'll be Bloods. They win possession of the footy. It's a kick into McCutcheon.
In the back.
He's dealt with severely and he looks sore. Probably got one in the kidneys as well. And
they both look a bit worse for wear after that.
They are. I reckon McLean there, it's got a bit of cramp for Dragons. McCutcheon, he will spread it wide to Hare. Now Hare.
He's had a very good second half today, John.
Hasn't he? He's been good all game, actually. I reckon he's done well. And the ball is with Broadbent off half-back and he'll drive it long in the direction of Collins.
Got Code to contend with. Code good enough to make the spoil. The ball goes to ground. Code surrounded. Try to get a handball at close quarters. Belnaves will run onto it through the centre circle. Did well. Found a path, and then his delivery's pretty good as well. Hadow marks. He can have a long shot from 50. Looks all right. I think it's a goal. He has. He's found the major opening, Brody Hadow. That's his first goal of the afternoon. Better bit of play by the Bloods. Sandhurst 14-17, 101. South Bendigo move along to 7-9-51. 17 gone. Final quarter, thanks to Poyser Holden, is Cam Power.
You mentioned Dylan McCutcheon looking a bit sore before. He has just hobbled off. It took him a long time to get from the centre off to the bench in the hands of trainers. Tried to get a little bit of a jog on, but just couldn't do it.
Bit of build-up, Normie.
It was a good build-up there, Ronnie. They were able to create space, and they actually, their skills were a lot better. Three-quarter time at Campbell's Creek, the home side 2-2-14, Carisbrook 44-18.
44-18. What's that in mathematics when the points? Work that out for me, Ronnie. Normie, as the ball is in the middle of the ground now. Contest. Some sword and tired players out here. Hare did well. He received the football and he'll put it to Swatton. Swatton now back to Hare. Back to Swatton. Runs to 70 for the Bloods. Good build-up. Was a kick that just slewed off the side of the boot. Now Connors, he's playing off half-back. Ronnie, don't know what he's doing there, but he has a nice kick, uncontested, and he'll find a teammate, which is Worm.
282's the answer, John.
282. Now, I reckon Worm's going to get a free kick here. Now, he wanted to play on. The umpire said, no, you're not. You've got to go back, Ben. So he does. Handball's off. Broadbent's had a stack of it. Kicks it inside 50, and the mark is taken. Is that O'Farrell? I reckon it is. The young man. Let's wait till he turns around. He's making it difficult. I'm going to go with it.
Yeah, it is young O'Farrell.
Yep. And he's taken this mark about 35 to 40 out. And I reckon he'd be pretty happy if he could slot a goal here.
We see a few scores in the 200s, Norm. It's when it gets to the 300s, that's when it gets real ugly, I reckon.
Yeah, it does, John, and let's hope it doesn't happen today.
O'Farrell, left footer, long drop punt, looks good, it's a goal. And all his teammates come to him on debut, the youngster, and give him a slap on the back and a little bit of a tussle of the hair, Johnny. You and I haven't got much hair to tussle anymore, but he's got plenty. 15-17, 107, Sandhurst. South Bendigo, 7-9-51. It's a 56-point lead to the Dragons, 19 gone, final term. Here's Cam Power.
I'm going to be heading down to catch a song after the game, and I reckon I'm going to be getting covered in Gatorade because it's going to be flicked around all over that young fella today. So good on him for kicking his first goal. And Sandhurst, they're in complete control in this game, and South Bendigo, it's been another another disappointing performance for them. And unfortunately, it'd probably nearly be season over for them.
Back in the middle now. Again, it is Stagg. He'll drive it forward, looking to Thornton, who takes a clunker It's not Thornton, it's O'Farrell. Geez, they look a little bit alike, don't they? And O'Farrell again, who's been prominent, as the boys have said. He puts it to Collins, who's at the teeth of goal. Oh, he's slick one way, then the other. Dish it off by hand. Back to O'Farrell for his second. Wow, great bit of play. I don't know why you're hanging on about me hair. I don't know why you want to hurt me that much for it.
Why are people so mean to me?
16-17, 1-1-3. The Dragons, 7-9-51 the Bloods, 20 minutes in the last, thanks to Holden, Colorado at Poyser. Holden, where local footy is our first choice on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
And that has now capped off what has been a great debut at Senior League football for young O'Farrell, Sean O'Farrell. And it was actually Ben Worm that was the hit up for that first mark. Yeah. And O'Farrell did well there. He was in the right spot at the right time.
Good to see Lee Coughlin out walking around behind the bench here for Sandhurst as well.
Well, that's good news. Of course, got a very heavy knock earlier
Still
in the
looks
game.
a little bit groggy, though.
Yeah, he's probably got some concussion issues, but good to see that he's up and walking about.
Yeah, he just gave the runner the thumbs up, so that's good.
Tossed up, we're back in the middle. Ball will go forward for South here. Harvey got a handball over to a teammate who was immediately tackled. Brought down, we're going to have a stoppage. The handballing at times, South, Norma, they handball it to blokes that are flat-footed or, I mean, you wonder why they just don't throw it on the boot. I know the modern game we're taught to handball close quarters, but, gee, they put their teammates under a lot of pressure. From this stoppage, Strawn got a wild handball out wide. It is for South Bendigo. Swatton trying to control it. Dragons chip in. Dole's got the footy now. Long handball. McKinley's in trouble. Dragged down the ball to the boundary, and we'll have a throw in.
Late in the last quarter out at Canterbury Park, it is 25-19 Eaglehawk to Castlemaine 4-5. And a little bit of a concern, Matthew Gretwick's off the ground with some ice on his knee for a knee complaint.
And final score down at Harcourt, the home side with a 9-point last quarter, 13-18-96 to Avoca 4-3-27. Could have certainly turned the screws in the last quarter, but very inaccurate.
Swatton on the wing. Gives it to Code by hand, swings it to Keck. They're going to cough it up here, the Bloods, and they do. Stagg to Dole. They'll cough it up as well. Broadbent too severe for him. Long was there. He's been pretty good as well for a young man. And O'Farrell has got it again on the wing. Short one over the top to Stagg. Stagg now. He's a bit of a smooth mover too, Stagg. I like the way he goes about his business. It's an ugly left foot ball. They give him a wrap, as you said, Ronnie.
Yep.
And a mark has been taken, strong contested by Sheen of the Bloods.
He gets the ball off to a teammate who brings it corridor. Bartel takes the mark, gets around an oncoming opponent, then bombs it long. Oh, Tonowitz had 3 to beat. He was never going to do that. I think the mark's been paid to the Dragons defender, and that is Lockie Ross, and he'll take it at defensive 50 for the Dragons. The margin is 62 points in favour of Sandhurst, and we are 23 minutes into the final term. The kick by Ross, the target is that man you mentioned earlier, Long. Couldn't take the mark, the ball's out of play. Right in front of our broadcast position here at the QEO. 23 gone final term. Sandhurst 16-17, 113. South Bendigo 7-9-51. With thanks to Priority One Property.
Umpire throws it back in. Martin, the rear of the pack. Bartel's overran the footy for the Bloods, who's been quiet today. Collins hasn't been quiet for the Dragons. He dishes it off again to Long. Long to Stagg. Thornton. Long. Series of handballs. Now it's big Thornton. Parry, in fact. He couldn't mark the footy in front of his eyes. Comes off hands. And that was a good build-up too. Series of handballs. They're playing with confidence now, Sandhurst. And this is a positive win for the Dragons leading up, well, into the second half of the term. They're just outside of the 5 before the games today. Picked up by Ruff of Dragons. Ruff would put it inside forward 50 for Thornton. Parry offered support. He just found a way, burst his way through the pack. He puts it long and high to the goal square. And there's a screamer being taken in the goal square at the pinnacle of where the ball sits. I reckon it's Strawn who's taken it, and he'll line them up only metres out from goal.
Got a pretty good vertical leap, Norm, Taylor Strawn, and I mean, he's a big fella as it is, so
Got
Yeah,
full-time score floating in from the Heathcote League North. Bendigo 15-6-96 to Huntley 8-14-62.
Strawn has missed it. Jeez, how
I
can
give
you-
him a rap. He's done
Oh.
the same thing, Johnny.
16-18, 1-1-4 to South Bendigo,
How did he miss
7-9-51. 24 and a half minutes gone. And at the Heathcote League, final scores, Mount Pleasant 21-22, 148, Elmore 8-2-50.
And down at Trentham, a final score there, Talbot 11-9-75, Trentham 8-12-60. So one of Talbot's few wins in recent years down at Trentham.
Hadow has worked it out of half back. Keck was involved as well. Now they've coughed it up. Big Martin's got it of the Dragons, but dragged down. Keck just tried to knock it into the path of his teammate, Belnaves. Also there, working hard, Childs. Got it back to Keck, pushed as he got boot to ball. The umpire said in the back, and he'll take the free kick. William Keck. Do they call him Billy? They'd have to, wouldn't they?
You would have to. Also, more scores coming through. Thanks to Wayne Smith for updating us throughout the afternoon. LBU 12-14-86 defeated White Hills 3-6-24.
Another score that the Sandhurst boys might be interested for any Sandhurst listeners out there. Gisborne 5-8-38, Strathfield say 17-10-112. So that should nearly put Sandhurst back in the top 5.
That's a smashing.
The Bloods worked the ball to half forward. A mark dropped there by Hadow. Forced to feed it back defensively to a teammate who just bangs it on the boot. Cut off at half back. Ruff's been pretty good today for the Dragons. He's had plenty of mates. He's got this footy at defensive 50. Went to Dole, went with the one arm. Couldn't take the mark. Put his body in though and won it back east. Got it back to Dole. Threw half back, look out. Almost got dragged down. Now takes a bounce. Handballs it back to Zach East. He got tackled as he got boot to ball, but that'll be okay. And the mark is taken for the Dragons by Wilkinson.
He'll swing it wide. He's got a teammate on in McKinley. McKinley's been okay as well. He'll spread it further wide to Price, who's been relatively quiet. Over the top by hand to O'Farrell, who's racking up the possessions. He, in fact, lost that ball. He might have overcooked it. Coming out of the pack, just streaming through, was Wilkinson. Did very well. He puts it inside forward 50 to Thornton. But now it is with Sheen of the Bloods. Defensively he did well, kicks it in the middle and finds Haddo. And they're away through the middle. It's a long ball for the Bloods to a one-on-one contest. Antonowitz is there. It'll be who can keep their feet. Antonowitz was clever. Hands up his clacker, puts it on the boot. Out of bounds. I was trying to look for a polite word. Was that polite enough, Ronnie?
Near enough.
Near enough. But it was a good contest, wasn't it? It was a one-on-one contest at
Especially
grand
tired
level.
legs at the end of the day. It's probably what you don't want in one way, but both players put their best foot forward there.
I reckon the busiest person in the ground would be the person taking the missed tackle stat for South Bendigo this afternoon.
So the ball is with Han, who got the free kick for the out of bounds on the full. The mark taken by Ross. Back pocket. His kick's a good one. O'Farrell. Left foot just chips it in short. Mark taken by Stagg. He's at defensive 50. Goes long and wide toward the outer wing. Target is Andy Collins. Keeps the ball in front of him. He might need support. Swatton's right on his hammer. He handballs it back towards O'Farrell, who chips it short. Blair Holmes takes the mark. He handballs off. McKinley, a kick-half charge down. Swatton's got it for South. His handball intercepted by Holmes. Stagg, Ruff, gets around an oncoming tackler. Handball over the top. Now they're out of trouble. The old give and go. Wilkinson back to Ruff. Would you believe he had his kick-half smothered? Bartels close to the boundary line. Does he keep it alive? He does. Then he's tackled and he's holding the ball.
Pinged.
So he's a bit stiff. He was putting his body in. Young O'Farrell will take the free kick.
Gets another possession.
Had a big last quarter.
He's up there in the best players. He'd have to be. Does he get any leniency because he's a debutant?
Probably not.
He's on the left foot. He kicks a 60 ball to 50. Big punch from behind. Bloods now with the footy. They'll just work it nicely. Off half back, it comes to the wing. Still contest at ground level. Ends up with Johnston. Johnson now. He'll swing it wide to Childs. Childs over the top by foot. He's got two on. This is that little rascal number 53, Ronnie. Gives it back to Childs.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Awful kick to Collins. Collins has had a super afternoon, marks it on half back, and he'll swing it wide to a teammate, and they're away again, Ron.
Yeah, the run on the outer side. There it is. Big win to the Dragons. They'll take it any day of the week. A big, big win in the end. The margin 63 points. Sandhurst 16-18, 114. South Bendigo 7-9-51. Sandhurst well and truly keep their season alive in 2018.
Ken Power, let's go around the grounds.
A couple of other full-time scores have floated in. The one that'd be of note to Sandhurst is Gisborne going down 5-8-38 to Strathfield, say 17-11, 113. And the Kyneton Tigers have absolutely mauled Kangaroo Flat 26-18, 168 to Kangaroo Flat 7-5-47.